Oh, okay, here we go. Got the audio going. Alrighty, we're good to go now. Okay, I think got the audios and the videos going. Okie dokie, yes, okay, alrighty. Hello, Miss Hippie. Hello, Mr. Siggy Sar. What's going on? How y'all doing tonight on a Sunday night, Sunday evening, Sunday, wherever, what time it is? Nobody told me it was daylight savings time today, so I found that out about a couple hours ago. I was wondering why my clocks are wrong all day. I swear they used to do it on a certain day every year, and ever since they stopped doing it on a certain day every year, I don't know when the time changes. So anyways, I'm a little off on my time today or something. I don't know. Anyways, we are live, and okie dokie. So we're gonna start off tonight, and no, you ain't gonna start with me because I'm gonna put you in a box and send you to China, and it's gonna be the end of it. Yes, China. They really like beagles. They love beagles over there, especially little fellas like you. Okie dokie. So, whew. All right. So, I've got a little something we'll share with you that I think you're gonna find really interesting. And hush now, you're getting on my nerves already, and we ain't even started. Hush. Go play in the road or something. So, I got a little video I'm gonna show you. And welcome, Kathy Broughton. How you doing? Hello, Miss Tracy Gregory. So I'm going to show you something, and I hope you've never seen anything like this before, and I hope it gives you a whole nother perspective on the research that's being done into old world buildings. And I think that it could be very helpful to all of us, and I think it's going to lead somewhere very interesting. Now, before that, we'll get rid of some pleasantries, and we'll be right back.
You think you know me? You think you know my struggles, my pain, my journey? Let me tell you something. Don't judge me by what you see or hear. I didn't walk this path to impress anyone. People love to point fingers, to act like they know everything. They don't know my story. You don't know what I had to sacrifice, because everything I've become was built from battles you never saw.
Okie dokie. So we're ready to rock. Now, like I said, I'm going to show you a video here. It's about 10 minutes long, but I think it's going to give you a very interesting perspective, a new perspective, a way of understanding these old world buildings. So I hope you guys enjoy this, and sit back, kick back, relax, and this is going to go fast. And I hope that you guys learn a little something, and then we'll get done with this. We're going to go mudding. So enjoy, and I will see you soon.
Everyone seems to be obsessed with optimizing their health. We're following special diets, avoiding blue light, and we're watching Andrew Huberman to get fitter and live longer. But there's one enormous health risk that is being systematically ignored. One that surrounds us all the time, affecting millions. It's not microplastics. It isn't our food. No, it's the buildings that surround us. These heat maps reveal something disturbing about the buildings we see every single day. On the left, people's eyes are magnetically pulled to the rich details of this neoclassical facade. On the right, the modern glass building beside it is almost completely ignored. When researcher and architect Anne Sussman ran these eye-tracking studies, she discovered a consistent, strange pattern. Our gaze avoids blank, repetitive glass facades. When she told me about it, I fell down a rabbit hole of neuroscience, psychology, and the built environment. And what I discovered terrified me, because what architects design nowadays could be systematically hurting the health of millions. And even worse, most people are completely unaware of this, because neither architects nor we have ever been taught about this cutting-edge knowledge. For this video, I spoke with Anne Sussman and neuroscientist Alexandros Lavdas. I wanted clear answers. What kind of architecture actually leads to good health and happiness? And what kind of buildings should we avoid to protect our health? And finally, we'll discover something even more unsettling. One professor discovered that we've been lied to about beauty itself. Because to your brain, beauty isn't something abstract, but something as real and measurable as the air you're breathing. I'm speaking with Anne Sussman. She's president at the Human Architecture and Planning Institute, or the HAPI. They use advanced biometric tools to measure something architects have ignored for decades: how buildings actually make us feel. One of the tools they use is eye tracking. Test subjects sit before a screen and look at an image, while a camera tracks where they look and where their eyes linger. It creates heat maps, showing hotspots of where people look and what people ignore. In fact, this technology is so effective that it is being used by major industries to influence our consumption behavior. One such industry is the car industry. They don't just design based on what the car designers like. Instead, they use cutting-edge technology like eye tracking and human psychology to their advantage. But eye tracking is also used to test websites, devices, and many other products, all to influence us, for us to buy their stuff. But what happens when this technology is used on architecture? The HAPI has done many eye tracking studies, showing sets of buildings to people, and one mysterious pattern keeps appearing, and that is that our gaze ignores blank facades, and that we actively look for people, contrast, and detail. Look at this heat map, for example. People clearly look at the bus, the signs, the traffic light, and the advertisement showing a lady doing yoga, but the glass facade is completely ignored. And look at the contrast between this library building and the version where the windows are photoshopped out. The windows attract the gaze, while a blank wall is ignored. But why does this matter? Well, we humans evolved in a world that is rich in information. When we are forced in information-poor environments, like cities with glass or blank walls, a couple of things happen. First of all, we get bored, and this has been shown to trigger a measurable stress response. Neuroscientist Colin Allard found that when people walk past boring blank facades, their physiological arousal levels drop into a state of restless boredom that mimics high-stress anxiety. This isn't just a lack of interest. It's your nervous system entering a state of search fatigue, as it desperately tries to find something to engage with. Second, our eyes naturally look for edges, or anchors to understand our environment. When these are lacking, our brain is starved of the data it needs to feel safe. Third, another mechanism is not activated, one that explains how we survived for millions of years, up to this day. Imagine you're living 15,000 years BC. You walk in the forest and all your senses are alert. Something crackles and you look over in the bushes. Immediately, your eyes identify the face of a saber-toothed tiger, and you're making a run for it. Now, if you wouldn't be able to instantly recognize a face, you would have been too late, and you would have won the Darwin Award. In other words, recognizing faces, including animal ones, is crucial for survival. It's why the brain area that helps recognize faces already develops in the 3rd trimester of pregnancy. Now, what does this have to do with buildings? Well, compare this building to this one. Can you tell the difference? The right building has a face, but how can that be? Well, there's something called the facial primitive, the pattern of 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. It is so deeply ingrained in our brains that we cannot help but see faces everywhere, from the fronts of cars to, indeed, buildings. It's called pareidolia. Now, what does this have to do with our health? Well, it turns out that face-like features make buildings feel more human, inviting, and familiar, while faceless buildings are actively hurting our ability to connect with our environment. Although not every traditional building has a striking face, they still have more face-like structures than sterile, repetitive, blank-faced architecture. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, because modern buildings have another quality that is hurting our health, and it's everywhere. Look at this tree. It contains a hidden mathematical property, a property that appears everywhere throughout the universe, from systems of galaxies to our neurons. I'm talking about fractals. So what are fractals? Let's look at the tree again. A larger branch looks like one of the smaller branches, which looks like one of its smaller branches. In other words, it is self-similar on different levels of scale. And it turns out that seeing these fractals actually soothes our brain. I spoke with Alexandros Lavdas from the URAC Institute in Bolzano, who explained this process in detail.
One such network is the default mode network. You're using it when you're not actively solving a problem. The thing is, if you present people with fractal patterns, this is the network that is activated. It doesn't require anything else. They're just taken in. Why is the tree easier to take in? Well, because you're tuned to it.
So natural shapes are soothing to our brains, activating the default mode network and reducing stress. And very importantly, these natural shapes and fractals are less common in minimalist modernist architecture. But that's not all, because when we see modern buildings that lack these fractals, something else happens.
On the other hand, it has been shown that parallel lines of a certain apparent distance require actually intense computation. Exposure to those lines causes more blood flow in certain parts of the brain, which means that the blood flow is there because of more intense metabolism, and they're more difficult to take in, to solve. And we're full of parallel lines everywhere now.
In other words, unnatural shapes, like cubes and parallel lines, are harder to process. This strains the brain, acting like stress, and when we are continuously exposed to it, it could hurt our long-term health. Traditional buildings often have more features that counterbalance the strong parallel lines, like curves, vertical elements like pilasters, and ornament. In fact, ornament does something else. It directly introduces natural forms, like plants, animals, or humans, into our environment. Also, traditional buildings have so much more detail that the building becomes interesting at every distance. The closer you get, the more details you see. And this boosts our health in another way. It helps us to walk more. Anne Sussman told me a story about an older American man who visited Venice for the first time and was amazed that he could walk around for 1.5 hours without getting tired.
But there's a reason biologically why that happens. Not only are there not cars on the streets in Venice, but there's detail that keeps him walking. But walking is done with the word they use is automaticity. What does that mean? Non-conscious awareness. If you have to think too much about it, you won't do it. That's why the guy could walk an hour and a half in Venice without even thinking about it and without even getting tired. What? How can that be? Because it was naturally feeding him the non-conscious subliminal stimuli he needed, which you're not going to get crossing a highway. you know?
And this is crucial, as we are walking way too little.
Turns out we need to walk. Now there are these studies I've been recently reading that if you don't walk 4,000 steps a day, they now can predict your increased risk of dementia and Alzheimer's.
So now we've learned how a lack of fractals and abundant parallel lines stresses our brains, hurting our health. But it goes even further, because what we perceive as beautiful or ugly has direct influences on our brain as well. But how? When neurobiologist Samir Zeki put test persons in an fMRI scanner and showed them painting some music, he discovered something shocking. Even though his test subjects came from different cultures and ethnic backgrounds, and none of them had an education in art, in all of them, the same brain area lit up when they saw something beautiful, the medial orbitofrontal cortex. This is the beauty center in our brains. At first glance, these findings destroy the idea of subjective beauty. After all, we can see the exact brain area light up when beauty is registered. However, that's not exactly the case. The brain area lit up only when the test subjects saw something they perceived as beautiful, because they had to individually rank the artworks according to how beautiful they found them. So, is beauty subjective after all? Well, there seem to be two answers to this question. Yes and no. Because Samir Zeki identifies two kinds of beauty: biological beauty and artifactual beauty. Biological beauty includes the beauty of human faces, bodies, natural landscapes, colors and mathematics. This is a more objective form of beauty because we have discovered that we are hardwired to prefer certain things, like symmetry, specific proportions and harmony. There's also artifactual beauty, which is found in creations like machines, cars and buildings. These are processed in a different way, which depends on individual learning, culture and context, and that is much more subjective, and based on the person viewing something. So does that mean that architectural beauty is completely subjective? Well, not exactly, because even though architectural beauty is for some part learned and cultural, it is also, to some extent, regulated by biological beauty. There's influences of fractals, and then there's things like symmetry and proportion, which appear in both nature and our buildings. When architecture satisfies these hardwired universal biological rules, we see that there is more unanimity in what buildings people prefer. And that's what explains studies like the one I did with Ipsos INO, or the Create Streets polls, or the Harris poll, which all show that apparently people prefer traditional architecture. Traditional architecture happens to have many of the biological features we like, which might explain why people prefer it. But there's a shadow side too, because Samir Zeki also discovered what happens when we see things we experience as ugly. Another brain part lights up when we observe something ugly: our amygdala and motor cortex. Our amygdala is the brain part responsible for fear and the fight or flight instinct, and is related to negative emotions. This means that when you observe ugliness, your brain is mobilizing your body to physically protect you from it. Your body goes into defense mode. And researchers found a linear relationship between the experience of ugliness and brain activity. The uglier you find something, the more intense the activity becomes in these brain parts. So no wonder you want to get away when you find yourself in an area you find ugly. And although the link between ugly urban environments and health isn't studied a lot yet, chronically elevated stress and cortisol levels means your body stays in the fight or flight mode, which can lead to cardiovascular issues, metabolic problems, a weakened immune system, and a whole slew of mental health problems, from anxiety to phobias, and from social withdrawal to aggression. What does this all mean? Well, we learned that buildings with boring facades, many parallel lines, and perceived ugliness can harm our health in a variety of ways, and they are being built everywhere. The bad news is that the designers who are designing these places where we live our lives have no idea of these findings. Modern architecture schools don't teach about neuroscience, and ignore principles like symmetry or harmonious proportions that could help make designs of buildings less stressful to us, more meaningful and more beautiful. Now, the decision is up to us. We must decide if it is ethical to build things that can make us sick in the long term.
The building is not an exhibit in a museum. It's not something that you have a choice of seeing it. The building is inflicted upon you by virtue of you living in that city, and you have no control over it. I think the freedom of the passerby or the inhabitant of the city to have a life with the least amount of stress trumps the freedom of the architect to create something that he or she finds interesting.
We also need to decide if it's ethical that we have made beauty only for the rich. Because, let's be fair, those who have money don't want to live in buildings like this, or like this. The poor are forced to live there, and they bear the consequences.
But what I've seen in my lifetime is now beauty is only for the wealthy. The private schools in my town are beautiful. The public school has a 160-car parking lot right next to it and is modernist. The private schools are traditional buildings, beautiful with the parking hidden. Which school is the 14-year-old going to feel more at home in?
In my opinion, the creation of unpopular, ugly environments is not only a health crisis, but a crisis of conscience. Do we really want to make the most vulnerable people in society suffer? Or should we aim to infuse beauty into even the most humblest housing projects?
Okie dokie. So I hope that that was informative. Maybe you learned a little something there. I think that there's some science behind these old world buildings actually being healthier for us than the new world buildings that we have built with the brutalism, the modernism, and all that good happy crap. And there just seems to be some interesting science being done to prove that there's something different about these buildings, and it's not just aesthetic. So I think that's very important, and I think I learned a lot there, and I hope you guys picked up on that. And other than that, we're going to go mudding. I want to say hello to Dragon Sage and Odin's Raven and Pacific Northwest, I saw. And anybody else? I didn't see anybody else. Welcome tonight. And Dragon Sage, sorry we didn't get you on the show Thursday. If you want to let me know when you're going to be around, maybe we can work out a better time. That kind of just didn't go as planned, but I think the show turned out really interesting. But I was sorry we didn't get you on there. But I definitely want to talk shop with you, and so if you'll hit me and let me know. Let's see what we can do to get you into the conversation. But I know you're a busy person, and let's try to work around you a little bit. I can only work around so much, but I think we can figure it out, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, later. Okay, that's fine. Hey, Derby Jack, how you doing? And okie dokie. So we're going to go ahead and get into the muddins. And let me add this to the stage and get my doodad. And let me make sure that it's working here. Let's see. This should be right. Let me welcome Virginia. How you doing? Okay, good to go. All righty. So let me. I wanted to read this thing. This here is the restoration of the National Historic Landmark Center building at St. Elizabeth's Hospital in Southeast Washington D.C. And this was a picture that was posted on X by one of these meltologists. My good buddy's meltologist, and they were making the comment that see the many stages of melted brick. And so I just wanted to, when they showed it, they didn't show it in as nearly as high resolution as this image here. So I went and found this image so we could take a look at it. And I just wanted to just kind of point something out here. Is this, what they're saying is that this is a building that is heat damaged and that it was all red brick. Okay, you got to know the Meltology translation. So they're saying that this was all melted red. This was all red brick, and that it was heated, superheated, to where the bricks changed into stones, and only these stones were superheated, and these bricks didn't get superheated, and so they didn't melt. So that's what they're telling you. And I got to just lay it down. I mean, this is as simple as I could say it, is that this is a stone foundation. That's what this is. And it's brick on top of a stone foundation. And right here is brick that has been repaired. You can see the difference in the mortar. This is a repair where you see the brighter color stones, bricks, and the white mortar. Now, this is just stones. This is all this is. This is there's nothing here other than stones. But they're swearing up and down, that these are melted bricks. And honestly, I'm dumbfounded where these people are like I don't, it's like there's a new drug on the market and they're smoking this new drug, and this new drug is making them hallucinate. Is the best I can come up with, because it is absolutely, in my opinion, fucking retarded to believe that this is a melted brick and it's going to remain square and level and true. I mean, You're telling me that this is going to be a melted brick, and all this brick here, this building above it, is going to remain level and true. That's what you're going to tell me, and I'm supposed to believe that? I mean, I can't believe people would actually make that statement and actually think that people actually are going to believe them. I mean, there's some weird stuff going on here. This stuff was below ground. This stone here, and one thing that's weird is that over here, you've got these little mudflood windows that would have been above ground, and then the stone would have been below ground, and then you've got this window here that is below ground, and they've concreted here and here and here, and I can't tell what in the world they did here. It's like they did a concrete, they smoothed over the concrete or something. I'm not really sure what they're doing. It's very strange, but what's stranger to me is where they have what's on this side. You can see through the building here because they gutted these buildings. I guess it was a fire. I really don't know. And you've got these little mudflood windows, but then they look exactly like these, but then these go down and they've got what are clearly old frames here. And what I'm thinking is that they had this, the ground level might have been to here, and then these windows were exactly the same, and they came in and dug this out and took out stones here and reworked it and then put in a larger window frame. Like they modified that after the mud flood. It's a very interesting restoration here. You can see the joist pockets right here where they would have put the joist into. Hey Frankie, how you doing? And but it's just, it's stuff like this that like just absolutely chaps my ass, is to sit there and tell people that these are bricks that are transitioning, into stones, that they're melting stones, and people don't clap back and question that. And it just absolutely is driving me up the fucking wall listening to these people jabber on about this. It's just not true. It's not true. It's a lie. It's bullshit. It's easily provable. And I don't know how people are falling for this crap. And it's gotten a hold of the best researchers in our community, and they've fallen for it. You got John Levy, Conspiracy R Us, My Lunch Break. They've all fallen for it. Michelle Gibson. And the list just goes on. And it's like, why are our old world researchers becoming retarded? They started off what appeared to be really smart, and now they're turning retarded. It's unbelievable. This is the same building, and this is an older picture. Looks like these are restraining pieces here, I'd say. Got some nice wrought iron work. Got some ivy crawling up the building. Got mudflood windows. You can see those windows that we were just looking at. That's the same kind of window right there on the bottom. Now this right here, this concrete part right here that's on the outside, that was added to the building. That is not original. They added that later because what they do with that is the rain comes, it hits the building and it runs down the brick, and then to wick the water away from going down into the building, into the foundation, they wick that water out on this concrete level here, and it comes down. But there's a side piece. It's kind of, yeah, right here. Here's a side. You can see the side. The water would come down, hit this, and then it would come up, and it wicks it away from the building, and that helps the helps it so it does not go down into the basement as bad. And that's what that's for. But that was added later. I believe that is part of them covering up the mudflood. Not to mention the fact that it's very possible they did something to the windows at that portion at that time to modify the window. You might have had two windows just like this underneath here, right here, and then they went in and modified it to make these little tiny windows. It might be what they did there. And we've got First Avenue looking north from Pioneer Square in 1890. In Seattle. Got little tiny ant people. And as you know, Seattle has a big history of underground. That was a big bank back then, the merchants' banks. You see that a lot. That flag looks kind of sus, like it's drawn in. Doesn't look like it's there. This wasn't one of the higher resolution glass plates, but I thought it was a cool image. So you can see the joist pockets right here, so there was a building right here that has collapsed. Those are weird phone poles sitting in the front there. Kind of strange. I don't know. Just thought it was interesting. This is the 1886 Cohenfield building at the corner of Bleecker and Green. Was a feather factory. Is that right? Feather factory? Let me make sure my note says right. It was a feather factory, one of the first industrial buildings in what is now NoHo. It burned in 1891. So we've got cobblestone brick road down here. These are all pavement lights right here. These panels that are darkened. You can't make them out, but that's what that is, 100%. That is pavement light. So that's glass sidewalks that allow light down into the basements. Kind of interesting. That's a beautiful building. Just really, really nice. I mean, I would just love to see like one image with, every other building on a road being, built at a time. Because, at some point they had to be building these buildings. But where is that point? Every time we look at pictures, it's like either they've got this construction photo of one building, or it's like everything's already done. Like this picture here, like everything's already done. Where's the construction? Like what do they do? Stop construction a month in advance of the photographer coming? This is a Temple Block area of Los Angeles. And it's at the high resolution photo, but I just thought this was a cool building here. And it's weird how it's got this almost like Wild West look around it, like almost like sets. Being Hollywood, I wouldn't doubt they made these as sets. Here's another one, same area. That's just a neat building. I wonder if that's a time ball up there. It's like a clock there. Got Fred's running around. Got Alma College, Alma, Michigan. between 1890 and 1910. Ether finials, architectural urns, arched windows, interesting brickwork there. This has got Mudflood windows. There's a finial. And this is weird. I don't know why they did this, but something I've noticed about this particular style of finial is that they seem to always have one that's larger than the other. And I wonder if there is an electrical reason behind that for the ether. Got the ether antenna with the mercury ball. Dragons say, ask somebody if they've ever seen Dark City. Yes, I have seen Dark City. And we got Anastasia Lighthouse in St. Augustine, Florida. Fred back here hanging out with his little lady friend, I'm sure. Got us a old world lighthouse here. That's weird. It's got a net surrounding it. I've never seen that before. I wonder if that's to keep bugs out. I've never seen that. That's kind of interesting. Chattanooga and Missionary Ridge from Cameron Hill. We've got some A-frame houses we built here. That's a sort of flat earth asterisk right there. Dragon's talking about lightning protection. Maybe that's it. Maybe they're trying to get it hit one as opposed to the other or something. Big old towers everywhere. And these random turrets are interesting. The slant on that roof right there. Pretty wild. That's interesting that got it, level here, and then the roof is slanting this way. So I wonder if this side over here is the front or something. Just everything's already built out. Like at some point they had to build this stuff. Like you can't. It's like everything's built, and then they stopped building for a period of time, and then we started tearing everything down, burning everything, and redoing it into modern. I mean, like when did they build it? Like it's like they built everything. It's like they tell us they built everything, and then they invented the camera, and then they took a bunch of pictures, and then they destroyed it, and then they built a bunch of other shit. Like what? What are you like? Like, it just doesn't even like add up at all in any way, shape, or form to me. There's just some factor that we're not being told. There's an unknown piece of the puzzle. Children's Day on Belle Isle Park, 1902. You got little ladies in uniform, little gentlemen in uniform, ladies in uniform, young ladies in uniform. Everybody's in uniform. Got Fred representing. Fred's a horse built America, in case you unaware and uninformed. I imagine y'all pretty on top of things. I would imagine. Sounds like it. Do. Got this weird stage here. Look at these. They're pulling something up here, like a backdrop or something. That's weird. Huh. Got this thing here. It's like stands here, but the stands are facing this way. What the hell are they looking at? That's really odd. Like, what is the? I don't understand. I thought this was a stage, but the stands are back here, facing towards here. I don't know what the hell we're looking at here. We're building something back here. I find it interesting when they put the. It's almost like they. I've had this idea that they maybe they like tried to recreate some of the buildings like this for photo ops. Let's build a building with Mudflood winter so it looks like we actually built this way. Because it's like they're always very specific. I don't know. They just always have the same like purposeful look to them. I don't know how to explain it. It's just random building here with Mudflood windows, like in a park for this. I mean, this major photo op of these people in uniform. Like, where are all these people getting their uniforms? Who's making all these clothes? I mean, is it? It ain't the. And here's another thing, like a lot of people talk about how the children were all working in the factories. No, they weren't. There were children who worked in the factories, but I'm sorry, but a lot of them are not working in a factory. These are not factory children. These are not orphan trained children. I don't know. Got Chittadine Hotel, Columbus, Ohio. I might have butchered that. That's okay. That's all right. It would be the first time. Ain't gonna be the last. This little trolley action, little cobblestone brick road. Look at the detail right there on that pole. Some glass insulators. I saw the other day this guy was talking about some of these glass insulators. They were a darker color. I'd never seen them before, and he says they're going for $2,200 at auction. And I was like, what? Like, I ain't never in my life ever seen one of those like over $10. Arc light. Cleaning the streets, I guess, washing the poo out. There's Boss Man right there. Bass down below ground. That's another thing, as I've noticed that the bass are always down below the buildings. We got Mudflood drop in here. You can go down there and, you know, if this is the way we built, like, okay, if this is like made sense, why do we not do it today? Why is this a form of architecture that we don't do today? Did architects decide, well, no, we don't do that today? Like they're like, at one point they said, no, we did that yesterday. We're not doing that today. Oh, no, yes, we built like that, but we don't want to build like that today. Like, at what point did they decide they didn't want to build like that? Because the official story is, yeah, we built like that. We built like that on purpose. Yeah, but now you don't. Why do you not do that anymore? What is the answer there? Because there's, you know, there's a outcropping door. You know, why did we stop that? Big arches. Oh, look at that awning. Oh, that's a good looking awning. Anytime you see one of these, I look down, because a lot of times, for some reason, they put the barbershops in the basement, which makes no sense to me. I mean, why would you put, you know, the hair cutter, you know, that where they need a lot of light down in the darkest part of the building? It just doesn't make any sense to me. There could be some pavement light right here. It's kind of hard to tell. Tourist fields. Fred's over here just chilling like a villain. Got some Mudflood winners there. Okay, we're gonna put our first floor, you know, 4 feet up in the air. We're gonna build stairs up to it because that makes sense. That is logical. It doesn't make sense. It's not logical. And why did they do that? Why? I need an explanation, like a real explanation. Dog tooth and coins with a Q. Diamond symbology. You got a little change in the course of bricks right there. Looks like they did it every so often, maybe. We can get a better shot here. Yeah, they did. They did a course short, and then long, short, long, short. And it's an aesthetic thing, and it also ties into the course behind it. So that building is going to be really strong. Check that out. And look at the corners here. How well done that little corner is. That is nice. It's like they vanilla skied the antenna off that one. They didn't have to do this one because it got cut off by the picture. So it looks like we've got a vanilla sky. The more antennas over here. Stoneball finial. Done in Bergen. Zip it, Skippy. Let's let it drop in. There's some pavement light right there. Oh, look at that awning. One up and one down. Got a Popeye awning. What is your problem? That's weird right there. Hey. There'll be none of that. I don't know why you got to get all mouthy. Well, hold on. I tell you what. Let me take little fart knocker here out for patrol, and we'll be right back. So y'all just hang out. Do what y'all do. Okie dokie. We are back. I got the Beagle patrolled. Hey, Dragon Sage. I see you're sitting there hanging out doing nothing. If you would like to come on and have a chat tonight, you're more than welcome. Let me know, and we'll switch gears and go into chatty chat mode. It's up to you. I'm trying to give you an opportunity to come and talk your truth. Hey Morgan, what's going on? Got here earlier. Oh my goodness. How's it going, Mr. Morgan? How's life treating you? Miss Teresa Gerger's hanging out. Kathy Buck's hanging out. Siggy Soar's hanging out. Dragon Stage hanging out. Well, nobody knows what Virginia's hanging out. I'm looking at these names here. Let's see. We got to give the Beagle his due. He wants his biscuits. Now you got to come up here. People want to see you get your biscuits. Make sure that they know you got your biscuits. Come on. Get your biscuits. Well, I didn't tell you to knock my doggone hot chocolate for a loop, you nut. You know that tail, or like that tail is that tail has have you got a license and registration for that tail? Because I don't think you do, sir. I don't think you have a license and registration for that tail. I do not. No, I do not. Excuse me, folks. Somebody decided to knock my hot chocolate, so I've got to clean it up. Spilled it a little bit. I'm gonna knock you out. Take you outside, out back, and teach you some manners. You want to get taught some manners, huh? You want to get taught manners? You want a manners lesson? That's what I thought. Get you knocked out. My goodness, what I have to deal with on a daily basis. Unbelievable. Sorry, folks. But, you know, he gets in that hot chocolate and he can't have that hot chocolate. He goes in there and makes, as soon as I turn my back, he goes and makes that hot chocolate. And I say, you can't have that hot chocolate. You can't have that hot chocolate. Don't you come up here and do it again. I'm pure T gonna send you China. You want to go to China? Right in the nose. Right in the kisser. Mess with me. Okay, sorry, folks. Looking back through here, Dragon Sage, are you saying sure you'd like to do a chat? If so, I will find the link and we'll drop it in. Hey, Jason Marshall, how you doing? Watching you watching the layers peeled away. All right, Morgan. That's funny. Oh goodness. Yeah, I love handpan music, Teresa. That's the music that's being played during that break. Handpan is just just so cool. I love it. Yeah, let me find the link, Dragon. Takes me a second to find it. I gotta look at these buttons and okay. I think this is it. Okay. All right, let me do it this way. That way you'll see it. Okay, Dragon. Okay. Okay. That should get you into the show, Dragon. And Dragon Sage, if you could use your Chrome browser to go to open your Chrome browser on your laptop or your cell phone, and then go click the link. That it something about StreamYard, it likes Chrome. I don't know why it does that, but I've found that there's something when it does work with others, but it doesn't seem to work well. It's very, very strange. I think you can get it to work. I don't know how to do it though. There are tutorials on it. But I'm not the one to ask that. I'd probably screw you up because everybody's stuff's different. Okay, I think we got Dragon popping on. I see you here. Oh, nope, it dropped. Wait a minute.
Oh,
okay, I think I added you.
okay. I think I'm here.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Okay, yeah, I can't. I'm not allowed to add my camera.
There it goes.
If I try and add the camera, it'll drop me. But you got audio anyway, I think.
I can hear you, and you can hear me.
Yeah, I can't see the chat or anything though, because I'm in the studio now. So unfortunately, I can't have fun in the chat. But
How you doing?
pretty good, bud. How you doing?
Oh, not too bad. It's Sunday. I'm kind of dragging a little bit today. I think because of the time change, but I didn't even know it. The time changed on me, but
I'm kind of dragging. I'm kind of dragging a little bit today, but I'm dragging every day.
yeah, I'm might be true too. I think that's you're in construction as well.
Yeah, I'm in the concrete business right now. I build concrete plants for a chemical company. I've been a technician, and I guess my title is technician / millwright for a chemical company out of Switzerland.
Millwright. That's an interesting title.
Yeah, I'm not in the millwrights union. I'm not a ticketed millwright, but that's the closest label that they can put on the job that I do, because we basically do everything. I do plumbing, electrical, carpentry, mechanical, computer controlled, actuators, valves, solenoids, everything in a plant environment. So I go in and I rip out all the old equipment from the company that we're replacing. I tear everything out, clean it all up, give us a pallet to work with, and then I rebuild the equipment with our equipment. And that's all.
And it's
because
concrete manufacturing. Explain that more.
Yeah. So in a concrete plant, you have several different things, right? You have, like, obviously in a concrete plant, you need sand, you need gravel, you need fly ash. They've kind of replaced what you were talking about with the lime. They've replaced that with fly ash now in the modern concrete business. And then what they have is they have a chemical process where they add chemicals. And there's probably, I don't know exactly how many there are, but in any normal concrete plant, we will install tanks, giant, anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 gallon tank that has a chemical in it, and that's connected with hoses and valves to a pump and solenoids and metering system that meters the liquid into a bottle. Usually they'll weigh it up for whatever the mix design requires. They weigh up the chemicals in a bottle, and then at whatever point the batch man decides that he wants to discharge the bottles that have weighed up into the concrete truck, the mixer truck. He pushes a button that discharges everything, and it goes into the mixer truck. And so all of the equipment that I set up is basically all of that, the tanks, the bottles, the pumps, the valves, everything that controls all of those chemicals in a concrete plant.
Okay.
And it's quite a process. It's pretty complicated stuff. A lot of people's eyes kind of glaze over when you describe the process to them, because it's there's a lot of working parts, and it's multiple disciplines that you have to understand in order to do the job that I do. It's pretty tough, and it's not a really pretty job. It's very grimy and dirty, and the environment is kind of disgusting. So I'm covered in filth and shit most of the time, and doing a really tough job, covered in crap and slime all the time, and we work really long days.
You said that you're replacing old outdated equipment. When was that equipment installed, do you think?
So most of the systems that I'm doing right now are probably anywhere between 5 and 10 years old. So our company has taken over the business in several large areas. So when we take the business over for these areas, we go in and we replace the old equipment with our new equipment. And the usually it's an upgrade for the people that you're doing it for. You're basically installing better equipment than the equipment that they had installed 5 or 10 years ago. So what that does is that makes their batching of concrete more efficient. They can do it faster, and they can also do it and more accurately. Yes. So whenever you're like in construction, right? When you're pouring concrete, when the truck arrives, usually on the site or before it even goes to the site, there's a quality control person that will take some of the concrete in a wheelbarrow and they'll put it through a slump test.
They put it in that circle thing.
Yep. Yeah. And they'll do a slump test, a pressure test, and a slump test. Yes. And the pressure test is to see what the they want to know how much pressure the concrete will take, and they want to know the air entrainment in the concrete. So how much air is in the concrete as well. And then they do what's called a slump test, where they put it in a cone and they pull the cone off, and then the concrete slumps. And when it slumps, that tells you either how strong and firm the concrete is, or how agile it is. And if it's agile, it'll just run like water everywhere, right? So these are all different types of concrete, and for some jobs you want it really watery, and for other jobs you want it to be very stiff. So it depends on the pour, and the company or the engineer that requests the concrete will specify the air entrainment and the slump that they require in order to pour whatever it is that they're making. So our chemicals have to be calibrated exactly so that by the milliliter, they're getting exactly the amount of chemical liquids that they need in a batch of concrete. So that I jokingly say that we can make the concrete dance and sing. Like, we can make it do anything for you with the right mixture. So we can make the concrete set up faster. We can make it set up slower. We can make it easier to smooth out and make it pretty and beautiful, or make it rougher, or make it so that it hardens more over time or less over time. Like, anything you want, anything you can think of, we can make it do with these chemicals.
Wow.
And it all just depends on the mix design that we set up. And
okay, I mean, I know a tiny bit about concrete, enough to be dangerous. So I understood a lot of what you said there. And I'm questioning, like, okay, what's the difference between what they call Portland cement and what they call the concrete you get at the concrete distributor? Like, when you order concrete, what would be the difference between a bag of Portland cement?
Okay, so as far as I know, I'm not a chemist, I'm a technician, so I'm not the expert in this, but from what I understand, it's that the Portland is it's a ready mixed blend of, it has a certain amount of sand, fly ash, concrete powder in it, so you just have to add water, and it's like an instant quick fix, and it's going to have a specific density based on the fact that it is that ready mix kind of formula. But when you make custom concrete like we do, you can specify the density to a greater or lesser degree depending on how you mix the elements into it, and what you put into it, and the chemicals that you add to it. Now, so I guess Portland's just kind of like a one size fits all. It's like a generic one size fits all. Here's your concrete, but it's only so good, right? And
now when we have I have a lot of masons around me, and when they're doing brickwork or block work or stone work, they always are mixing it by themselves per the job they're doing. Is that because they cannot order what they need from the supply from where you're talking about?
Yeah, sometimes the places that I deal in, usually there's a minimum requirement of how much you have to order. So it's usually, I think it's usually like 4 yards of concrete is the least you can order.
Right.
So for the most part, when you get a mason in, I used to actually do that. I was a mason's helper years ago. Kathy Broughton's probably laughing right now because I've had just about every job under the sun over the years and all different disciplines. But um, basically, if you're doing masonry work, you only need a small amount of concrete at a time. So it's easier to mix it in a small barrel or even a wheelbarrow by
Right.
hand, because that's all that you can reasonably use in the course of like an afternoon or a day. You can get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 wheelbarrows full in a day. Where if
That's
you were
what
to
I
order
thought
it from,
the answer was. I just wanted to kind of double check to make sure that
yeah,
I was
because
right.
if you ordered it from a big company like us, then you would get, the truck would show up and the truck would say, where do you want it? And he would want to dump it right there and then. And
Right.
it would just be in a you could fill 10 wheelbarrows, but by the time you use the first 3 wheelbarrows, the other 7 would be hard. So it's
That's like
useless.
I've got a
And
situation right now where we're gonna concrete the bottoms of all the bird coops, and there's like 18 bird coops, and we asked the guy, what do you want us to bring in a truck, or do you want to mix it yourself? And he said, I want to mix it myself. And we have
yeah,
a mixer, and then we
yeah,
got, I don't know how many pallets of concrete, and he's going to mix it by hand by each bag. And I'm like, oh, okay, I get, there's a reason he's
it's
doing it.
actually, yeah, for him, it's probably easier to do that.
Yeah, I
So the,
guess.
the, so the type of concrete masonry work that I used to do years ago was with a guy in the Hamilton area, who's down in California now, but he was a specialist. And this kind of speaks to my love of old buildings and stuff. But what we used to do is we did a lot of restoration work on old houses and old churches and things like that.
Oh, okay.
And this guy's specialty was the the Heritage Society, or the I guess, yeah, it was like the Heritage Association or whatever, would call him because he would match the type of brick or the type of stone that was in the building. And also he had it down to a science where he would mix the mortar, and he would add coloring to the mortar so that he would match what the original mortar color looked like in the building. And
Right.
after the repair was done, and it dried and hardened, you would never even know that he had done a repair because it would all match the original stone and the original mortar. So
That says a lot about him, because a lot
it,
of the newer guys, they don't even bother. They act like, oh, that
yes,
can't be done. Now, did
yes,
did
yeah,
he? Um, now, when you're doing old world buildings, they use the lime mortar, but now a lot of times what the newer guys are doing is they're using Portland cement to fix old world buildings, and that is actually wrong.
it is wrong.
It's way wrong, and it's going to
Yeah,
destroy those buildings. I'm
yeah.
assuming he did lime mortar.
He did. I remember mixing because I was the guy on the shovel and the wheelbarrow,
A
mixing the
nasty
stuff
job,
for him.
which
Yeah,
is
and
really
he would say,
beginner.
well, he would always give me a recipe. He would say, okay, you have to use, for every 10 shovels full of sand, you use a half a bag of this concrete mix for 10 shovels of sand, and then you put a quarter bag of lime in that, and then you mix it all up, and then he would come and add the color at the end. And then after he added the color and a little bit of water, I would mix it up, mix it up, mix it up, and then we would put it into buckets and use it.
What did he
So
use for the color?
there was special colored powder that he used to get, and I don't know where he got. I think he got it from a local builder supply store.
They do the same
Um,
thing with concrete.
yeah, they do, and I've built those color systems and maintained them before. They're a pain in the ass. Oh my god!
Yeah, I've
Because
seen that
that,
done before, and it's like
yeah,
I did not know they did that, and it's a trip to watch that.
yeah, it's really neat with 4 different base colors. So the 4 different colors were light red, a dark red, a black, and a yellow. And with just those 4, and black's not even a color, right? So 3 colors in black, they could make about 2,000 different combinations of different colors in the concrete with And there was a machine that I used to manage when I used to do this same job years ago in northern Alberta, as a chemical technician for a concrete company, and we had these color machines, and they were such a pain because the colored powder that they used was so concentrated, and when you were working on the machine, inadvertently some of the powder would get out of the machine, and as soon as water touched it, it would just expand and go everywhere. And it would be all over my boots, all over my pants, all over the plant. I would end up tracking it into my truck. And when I'd go home at the end of the day and I'd have to park my truck in the driveway, walk into my garage and take off all my clothes, my boots, everything, and leave it all in the garage, or else I'd be tracking that all through my house too. It's really hard to contain, and there was a couple places where it got hit by water and it was all over the plant, like just everywhere in the plant. Really tough stuff to work with. Not fun.
You might realize I've been studying lime mortar lately, and
Yep.
obviously I don't know, really what I'm talking about other than I'm learning, and it's quite complicated stuff. But one question I don't even really know how to ask the question, but I'll try. There seems to be, when they were making the lime mortar, that they would make two different versions of it. And I think one of them is called quicklime, and then there's another one that's another type of mortar. And do you know the difference between those two types of lime, and like what the second one is called? Do you know anything about that?
I don't. It's not really something that we use in the modern industry.
Yeah.
So the closest thing I think that we have to that is something called fly ash, and it's imported in these giant tankers, which we call pigs. It's just like a giant steel canister full of this powder. And I think how they make the powder is the fly ash is the remnant of a long burning fire where they just burn wood or whatever they're burning, but they burn it down to ash so that it becomes an ash particle that's so light and so fine that you definitely do not want to breathe this stuff in, because once you breathe it into your lungs, it settles down into your lungs, and a lot of people have died from breathing fly ash particles. It's really, really dangerous in the industry. So we have to wear respirators. Yeah, we have to wear respirators and masks whenever we go into those type of situations.
Lime is very dangerous as well. They have
it is poisonous. Yeah. So I think they've replaced the lime with the fly ash, but I think what the companies now are doing is they don't use the lime. I think they use fly ash, sand, and aggregate, and then they rely on the chemicals to kind of do the work that the lime used to do. Now, I've heard you talking about this for weeks now, and I've been thinking about it, and I know that our process is different from the way it was in the old world, and I think the reason for it, it's first of all probably a cost thing, because like how it works in construction, right? That the job always goes to the lowest bidder. So whoever's got the cheapest way to do something, that's who's going to get the job. And that's why these new buildings are going to fall down within 50 years. They're not like the old buildings where they built it to last.
If you're lucky.
Right.
50 years.
Right. But the thing is, I think what they've done,
we're in big trouble.
I think they've made these chemical processes to replace the old world. I don't even know if they really know the recipe for the old world mortar and concrete anymore. I think they used to use things like seashells, ground up seashells, lime.
They do.
Someone must know it.
Over in Europe, they're still making it. The problem is that you can't import it without a lot of trouble to here. They still know how to do it over in Europe.
So it must come down to cost and and prohibited substances or something. Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. When you've got a guy that's doing lime mortar, okay, it costs more in materials. Then it costs more in labor, because they have to come in and they work a little bit, and then they have to let it dry some, and they have to keep it wet constantly, and then they come back and build some more. With the Portland cement, they could come in and just bop, and there's no time limit. There's no time limit on how they can just keep going. And
Okay, so Biggs, riddle me this, bud.
yeah,
So isn't it ironic that the old world technique actually takes longer than the new world technique, and a lot of people in our community, like especially someone like my lunch break, has been looking at how they knocked out, and Frankie, like, how did they knock out all these old world buildings in a year, right? When we couldn't even build them today in a year with the quicker technique, but their technique would take longer. So how did they knock those buildings out in a year with a technique that actually technically took longer to do?
well,
It
you
doesn't make
bring
any
up a
sense.
great question, because I have learned that in order to know the difference between lime mortar and Portland cement is when you go up to the building and you scratch the mortar. If the mortar falls out, that's lime mortar. If it is hard as a rock, it's Portland cement. Now, that means that old world buildings that have lime mortar, you can go up and scratch the mortar out. If we find out that a building, which I think a lot of them, if not most of them, have this lime mortar, if it has lime mortar, then the time that it took to build those buildings increases tenfold.
Right. Yeah.
And you have
So
a
the
very,
narrative
very good point there. And
right
I don't
there, the narrative
know anybody
falls
else is
apart.
about that. I don't know of anybody that's making that specific point. That
Yeah.
that's something you just brought to the table. Okay,
Well,
I didn't.
the narrative falls apart right there, right? Is that one point right there is shoots holes in the narrative that are a mile wide that you can't get around. It's like there's no way to get around that.
I've been focusing on the bricks because the bricks are critical as well. But that lime mortar, that stuff is, I think we're going to make a breakthrough, because it is a very, very complicated stuff. There's another thing called hydraulic cement, and this is actually a type of lime mortar that they could use underwater, and seawater actually makes it stronger.
Okay.
And
Well,
that's
we
something I'm
use
looking into.
yeah, the company that I work for, I actually have two jobs in the company that I work in. So I do the technician mill writing job in the concrete plants, but I'm pretty much the only technician in my company that works in the mining division, which is called STM. It's called shotcrete tunneling and mining. And so I go into mines and help them, and it's totally different. It's a totally different process in mines than it is in concrete plants. And just from what I've learned in the mining industry is that they also have underground boring and tunneling, and they have underwater applications as well. So they have types of concrete. I haven't experienced this yet in the underwater and the tunneling yet, but I'm hoping that I'm going to get there eventually.
Okay. This is something else I've learned, is that they have a modern form of hydraulic concrete that is used underwater to today to build with,
Yeah.
but seawater degrades it. But the old
Okay.
world lime mortar, that's
Got
hydraulic
tougher.
lime mortar, that hydraulic concrete, the seawater actually strengthens it, and over time it gets stronger and stronger and stronger.
Okay. Well, this is giving me some great ideas for conversations that I can have with some very smart friends of mine, because I know a lot of guys in this business now.
Here's another
And
thing that's important that I'm learning. This lime is some critical shit. Okay. Another thing I'm learning is that they not only did the lime mortar with it, they not only did the concrete with it, they took the beams, the wood, and they would soak them in lime water, and that lime water would go into the trees, and it would
yes,
kill off everything that was edible in there. And what it would do is it would preserve that wood
to
and the
fortify and harden it. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
another thing I'm learning is, what have you ever heard of whitewash?
Hmm.
Okay, I learned that whitewash is actually made from lime, and the reason they used whitewash is because the lime protected everything. Everything.
Hmm.
So
It's a
we need to look
sealant.
at
Yeah.
whitewash. I mean, of all
Right.
things, whitewash. I thought to me, when I heard whitewash, I always thought it was some sort of cheap ass paint that poor people used back in the day because they couldn't afford lead paint. That's not true.
Right.
Whitewash was actually a protectant
And a sealant. Yeah.
and a sealant,
Makes
and
sense. It
it
makes sense.
made it so
Yeah.
the bugs wouldn't eat the wood. This stuff is not taught in school. I'm sorry.
No, no, and it's not even taught in construction schools or in the industry. It's not really talked about.
No.
They
And
just talk about whatever their new techniques are now, and mostly what you get now in the construction industry is safety, 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 because you know they don't want anybody getting hurt. They don't want to pay for somebody to get hurt. So, um,
yeah, okay, that
you
and
know,
that works.
yeah. Well, I'm sure you've been through. The jumping through hoops is just amazing that you have to go through just to get onto a site these days.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
OSHA
It
is
depends
just
on,
ridiculous.
yeah, the type of industry that it used to be is totally different now. Um,
I remember
there's
when
more
I
safety
started
guys than
working
workers.
in the home improvement stores when I was like around 19 years old. We would climb the racking, and if you needed a box, we'd just climb up the rack instead of going to get a ladder. And then I switched to working at Home Depot, and every time you broke on the racking, you had to have on a safety harness and all this crap.
That's right. And they put a rope across so nobody can come in the area, and there has to be a flag man down below and a safety guy. That's right.
It's just a whole different industry, and it changed very quickly.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't really comment on that sort of thing because where we work, we basically take over a plant and we just go to work in it. And I'm like a squirrel. Like I'll go everywhere in the plant and up in the rafters and up the belt and whatever. But I shouldn't be even saying this, but yeah,
I
you
saw
know,
some film last night of when they were building Disneyland and the steel workers were climbing the steel. It was really cool.
yeah. Sometimes you just have to do what needs to be done to get the job done. And if you were having people breathing down your neck to like look at everything that you were doing, you would never get any work done. So you
They
need to
want
be
you
able
to
to
wear
get your work
safety
done.
glasses for everything, and I'm like, I can't see through these damn things.
Yeah, I wear all my safety equipment. I make sure that I go home at the end of the day with all my fingers and toes and limbs, and I wear knee pads every day and a helmet and stuff. I just make sure that I'm taken care of. Glasses are good because I never know when something's going to pop or explode or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't want to lose my eyes, and I always wear gloves because I'm a guitar player, so I don't want to fuck up my hands. So,
I wear
um,
light gloves. I don't like wearing a helmet unless I'm on a job site that requires one. And I don't. There's one time that I actually do put on a face shield is when anytime I'm using any form of grinder, and that's just because I was using a tabletop grinder one time, and I was going to sharpen a lawnmower blade, and it was a friend of mine's, and I said, hey, I want to sharpen my lawnmower blade on your grinder. Said, sure, no problem, go ahead. And I went, and as soon as I hit it, it was so old that it exploded, and it hit me right in the face at 60 miles an hour. And
yeah, I've had it happen before too.
that
But
is not a fun experience.
that's what I have a beard for.
It
I've
works.
had the stiff wire bristles too that you can use to like clean off steel and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, those
They're
are
like,
dangerous. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes those will explode as well. I've had those explode, and one time I was working. Luckily, I had glasses on. I was at a site. This is when I was doing lightning protection. We were doing an aircraft hangar, and my partner and I had to attach all these connectors, but then we had to buff and grind them for some reason. I can't remember, or we had to buff the steel before we put the connectors on. That's what it was. And
Okay.
I was using this wire grinder attachment, and it exploded, and all of the little wires flew out of it at such high speed that they were all sticking out of my face. And my
Oh,
partner walked up, and I couldn't even feel them because they were so small. They were like little tiny, um, almost like acupuncture needles. But there was like about 60 of them all sticking into my face, like out of my face. But I had glasses on, so they didn't hurt my eyes. And my
oh,
partner came up and he looked at me and he goes, "Dude," he goes, "the fucking wires are all sticking out of your face." I was like, "What?" And he made me I had to pull out my camera, and I had to put my camera on selfie mode to look. And I looked and I was like, "Oh my God." Like, I had to go and find a washroom and take all these things out of my face. It was brutal.
That's
But
dang.
you
That's a
know, stuff
trip.
happens. Stuff happens. You kind of toughen up after a while. I don't know. Stuff like that doesn't really bother me. As long as I'm not hurt, I'm okay. Like, you know, it's all right. But
My
yeah,
boss, he runs a demolition company, and I hear all the war stories, and some of the things that happen are just awful. It's
the
just
worst the worst thing that happened in the last year to me was I was building. It was doing something simple too. I was doing carpentry. I was building a wall, and I was silly because I was on the phone while I was working, and so I had my headset in, and I was talking to someone. I kind of was listening to the conversation, and I was still screwing. I was screwing plywood onto 2x4s on a wall that I was building, and I had my hand on the back of the stud behind the wall, and I was screwing the plywood in with 2-inch screws, and
yeah.
I accidentally missed. I missed the 2x4 and put a 2-inch screw through the plywood and into my thumb, right under the thumbnail on my left thumb.
Oh,
I drilled like about an inch into my thumb with the screw underneath, right underneath the nail, and it was brutal. It
oh.
hurt like a mofo for that night and the couple nights after.
Did
And
you
then
have
about
to
a week
back it
later,
out?
well, the thumb, I just wrapped it in electrical tape and kept working. I didn't really worry about it, but um,
Yeah.
a few days later, my thumbnail fell off. it took
Oh,
like it took like 2 months for my thumbnail to grow back. It's all grown back now. It's fine, but it was a mess for a while. Like it was
I saw a
terrible.
guy
And it's,
shoot himself in the hand with a nail gun one time,
I've
and
seen that too. I've seen guys shoot themselves in the foot with a nail gun too. It's not pretty.
it's brutal. This guy
Yeah.
took super glue and squirted it into the hole, and it came out the other side. And he's like, "All right, let's get back to work."
I
Right?
work with some pretty I work with some pretty tough guys. Like my one buddy broke his ankle and he didn't stop working. He came to work every day with a broken ankle and he like hobbled and limped and swore around the site for a month, but he just didn't want to stop working and he didn't want to not work, right? So he just kept working with a broken ankle. It's funny.
I've done it. I don't know. There's something weird about men that we're kind of dumb like that.
Yeah.
We
We'll just
don't know.
keep going. Yeah.
Just
It's
keep
okay,
going. I
coach.
don't know why.
I grew up in a hockey household, so that was kind of a thing. Like hockey players are known for breaking arms or legs or getting teeth knocked out or whatever, and just not stopping. They're like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna keep going. Tape up the arm or whatever. You got a broken wrist, just tape it up and keep playing, right?
Jeez.
Yeah.
You said
Yeah.
you were in Alberta, or where did you say you were in Canada?
Yeah, I've lived all over Canada. I'm originally from the east coast of Canada, but I grew up in Ontario and British Columbia. And then in my working life, I worked in northern Alberta, from Edmonton all the way up to like the Northwest Territories and Yellowknife and northern, like northeastern British Columbia. It's basically like Siberia in Canada. It's the equivalent of Siberia, basically. I used to jokingly call it Alberia. Um, that was the frozen years of my life, and now
God,
I'm in eastern Canada. I basically am everywhere from Ontario, Quebec, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland now, all on the east coast.
so you're based and do all your work in Canada. Is that correct?
Mostly, yeah. I'm stuck in Canada right now until I can get a couple things figured out, and I'm
Okay.
trying to arrange so that I can go work in the States eventually, but that might be a year or two down the road. We'll see.
Who
Just
knows
bad
with the
choices.
laws, the way they're doing everything? You don't know what the hell.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
swear they change them every day. It's like you don't even know.
yeah. I made some bad choices when I was young, so I'm kind of paying for that now.
Yeah,
No,
didn't we all?
yeah.
I think that's par for course, especially people
Mhm.
that are awake. I think we make more mistakes than the average people.
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, most of the people that I know have made some bad decisions at one time or another, for sure. And I kind of had the philosophy that those are the interesting people anyway. You know, if you lived your life according to the rules and just kind of gone along with whatever you were supposed to go along with, you're probably not that interesting. You probably don't think
You
about
haven't
it.
lived well. you, you forgot to live. So you
That's
play
right.
guitar and sing? Is that
Yeah, yeah. I have a band. I have a three-piece classic rock power trio. We call ourselves, called the Sex Switch. We've got a couple of videos up on YouTube. Um,
and you
and
write your own music or do you do
yeah,
covers? Or,
yeah. No, we write all our own songs. We've written in the last 5 years. We've made 2 albums worth of music, and we're working on a third one now.
that's
But
awesome.
because it's all self-funded, it's really expensive to press it to vinyl. So I'm hoping by the end of this year to have at least the first one pressed to vinyl and have something to sell. But the main concern for us is just to play music because we love to do it. So we're all musicians that have been playing in bands for 30 years and playing in all everybody else's bands, and we just kind of finally decided to go out on our own and do our own thing in the last few years and
Well, do
write all
you
our own
have
songs.
a place that you sell your merch, your CDs, or
Nothing's for sale yet. I have a couple of Google Drives where you can actually listen to all my music for free. None of it's for sale. Um,
okay?
I don't know. We kind of grew up with the Grateful Dead philosophy of things, where the music is just it's the people's music, whatever. So it's all we just give it away. Eventually, we'll make some records, but I don't really like the music business that much. I don't like the business side of it. I think it's really sleazy and gross.
Horrible.
And yeah,
It's
so I mean, I was in a band in 1988 that had a recording contract and was supposed to go on tour down in Texas and stuff like this, and the whole thing fell apart. It became a nightmare, and then I think after that, I was a little bit jaded towards the music business, and I
and
just
it's
always
happened
played
to
in
so many
bands.
people. It's an ongoing thing. If you don't it, if you don't meet their mold of what they want and you don't do it very quickly, they will just boot you. They'll just
Yeah,
drop you. And
yeah,
it's
that's why we just stayed independent. I work very closely with the guy in Hamilton, Ontario, who has a world class music studio. We actually bought the well, my buddy Dan, who owns the music studio, he bought the 2-inch reel to reel tape machine from Jimi Hendrix's Electric Ladyland studio in New York, and he
I've
brought
bought
it up to
equipment
Canada.
from that studio before. Yeah, I bought
Yeah,
Yuri limiters from there.
cool, right on. So we have the 2-inch reel to reel machine from that studio. We brought it up to Hamilton, and that's what my band has been recording our albums on for the last 5 years.
Oh wow,
Um,
that's cool.
Yeah, we've got some really nice stuff. Like if you like classic rock, I guarantee you'll probably like our stuff. Like I
Oh
can
yeah,
I
I
can
love it.
probably email you a link where you can listen to it all basically and check it all out.
Oh, I love to.
We're eventually
I
sorry,
love
we're
music.
eventually going to make some kind of shirts and make some albums and shirts and play some gigs and stuff. But we're in no rush. We all work. We all have day jobs and families and whatever. So um, we're
You know,
not worried about becoming rock stars at this point.
some good friends of mine in the '90s. They had a band. They started in the late '80s, and they were an up and coming band. Uh, their band name was The Velt, and they were signed by Mercury Records.
Cool.
They were on MTV. They were going to be one of these next big bands, and the record company wanted to market them as the next Living Color because they were a black
Cool.
rock band.
Cool. I
And
love Living Color, man.
I
Wow.
do
That's a
too,
great
but
band.
they didn't want
Yeah.
to be the next Living Color. They wanted to be
Oh,
what they were, and it pissed
right.
them off. And they said, "We're not the we're the Velt. We're not Living Color." And they dropped their contract, and they owed a lot of money because they give you that advance up front. And so
Okay.
they spent years trying to dig out from that hole, and they have just recently, within the past 10 years, dug out from that hole. And the way they did it was they created a new name, a new band name called Apollo Heights, and they went underground in New York City and did underground music, and they became really popular. And what they would do is actually they would provide Kool-Aid and spike the Kool-Aid with LSD. And they got a following, and now they're back to the belt, and they're making records and touring again, and they're actually doing really well now. And they're considered one of the original what's it called? I'm slipping my mind. What are the Cockatoo Twins? Not prog rock. Shoegaze. They're considered one of the original shoegaze bands, and they're actually highly respected in the shoegaze genre. And
that's so cool. Yeah.
But it shows how not only the record company will screw the hell out of you, but if you're resilient and you keep with it, that you can make it at some point.
That's the thing that's the thing that we're kind of, we have integrity as musicians, and we know that the music that we play is good, and we like it, and our friends like it, and the people that listen to it think it's cool. We kind of sound like a classic 70s rock band. We do a little bit of blues, a little bit of country, a little bit of classic rock, some heavy stuff sometimes, but we're sticking to our guns. This is what we do. This is the way we like to do it. And that sounds like my kind of band. I like that idea. That's a great idea. I grew up in the Grateful Dead and, Led Zeppelin and Hendrix. And those are the covers that we do play, is stuff like that. Like we play some Hendrix, some Zeppelin, Beatles, BB King.
Good cover, but what I like about a cover is when a band not just covers a song, but they own that song. They play it their way.
Yeah, you got to make it your own for sure.
Own. You're never going to top the original. Well, maybe not, but you don't go in thinking I'm going to top it. You go in and you make it your own. You own it and
give it your own flavor. Yeah.
Man,
for sure.
I've heard so many people do a cover and it's the same thing. It's like, you're not John Bonham, you're not Jimmy Page, you're not Ross Plant, you're not these people. Don't try to be these people. And if you do that, man, it sounds so good. I'll, like a lot of times in my videos, I'll look for a cover of a song as opposed to the real song because I like them that much.
For sure. That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool. That's open-mindedness towards music too, right? Because I don't enjoy modern radio just because of the fact that it seems like you get the same 500 tunes that they play all the time. Even on the 109 FM band in the radio, which used to be really alternative, and they used to play B-sides and deep cuts and all this stuff. Now they just play the same 50 to 100 tunes all the time, all day long, and there's nothing.
They're paid.
There's nothing interesting about it, right? It's all become corporate. It's all become corporatized, and it's been spoiled.
I used to listen to college radio. That was where I got my best
college radio. Yeah, I used to have university radio in Hamilton that I listened to for a while. It was great, but even that's kind of weird now.
It's his hour to play music, and he comes in there with some shit you ain't never heard, and he just tears it up.
Yeah, I had a lot of my music played on the university radio station back in the late 80s and early 90s out of Hamilton because a couple of the DJs that were doing their own indie shows were friends of ours in the music scene, and I would just, slip them a tape and they would throw it on in their show kind of thing. So I had a lot of independent show radio airplay back in the day, but the stuff that we're producing now is much more polished and much more professional than the stuff that I used to do then. And I think the stuff that I've produced in the last few years could easily be on the radio, like any day of the week. But we don't have a major label behind us, and we don't have any backing. So we're completely independent and kind of, out in the ether here. So I don't know how we're going to ever break into those markets unless it's through, contests and things like that, where they say, submit your songs for contests, which I have been entering, but
I don't know how you do it today. Back in the day, they used to have people that would go around to the music venues and check out bands.
That's right. The A&R guys. Yeah, they used to go out and they used to actually
do that anymore.
Even in the early 90s, they came to Hamilton and a whole bunch of my friends' bands. I was in Vancouver at the time, but there was an A&R guy who used to come around Hamilton, and he gave out $5,000 and $10,000 grants to bands that he liked because he was like, "You're a good band. Here's $10,000. Go make a record or go do something or buy some equipment for yourself or do whatever you got to do to like take your music to the next level." And that used to happen, but it's been 30 years now since I ever heard of anything like that happening. It doesn't. I don't think the record companies do that anymore. They kind of reeled it all in, and now they just go for the safe bet, right? They've got all this corporately produced.
It's like they look on Spotify and find Billie Eilish, making her Ocean Eyes song. They're like, yeah, we can use that. We can make her into something. And they go grab her up, give her a bunch of money, and make a record with her and turn her into exactly what they want to turn her. They mold her.
That's it. Yeah.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so few bands now that are actually organic. Although I will say, I'm finding new bands that are coming on. Turnstile. Let me just shout out Turnstile.
Cool.
Have you heard of them?
I haven't.
They're blowing up right now.
Cool.
They've got that. You ever hear a band and you're like, they've got that thing that really gets people turned on? Turnstile. Okay, yeah. They got that thing, and it's cool. Not they're playing the greatest music, but when they play, the energy of their music playing, like they let people come on stage and dance on stage, and people will be all over the stage during their set. It's fucking chaos. It's beautiful. It reminds me of the 90s, back when it was. It was still the wild, wild west. And but check out Turnstile. They are.
Well, I think the world needs more energy like that, because I got really depressed and wasn't a fan of going to shows anymore. It happened in the late 90s to me, where I was going to shows and big concerts and stuff. And it's one thing to go see like a big act like Peter Gabriel or Pink Floyd or whatever, but when you're going to see these smaller bands, what it seemed like was the audience would kind of hang out and stand there unimpressed, and they would watch the band, and there was no interaction between the audience and the band, and there was nothing really. There's no spark anmoore. It really got me depressed.
The band, you get the audience, when they get riled up, the band gets riled up.
That's right.
Push-pull.
Well, okay, so in African music, they had no concept of the difference between the musicians and the audience. And this is a big thing. Like the audience, the people listening to the music, were the same as the band in African music. They're all one thing. They're all participating in the music.
Right.
So there's no separation between audience and actual players, which I thought was really cool. I was like, yeah, that makes sense, because when the music is happening, everybody is immersed in the music. And I mean, I've spent the last 10 years studying the cathedrals, right? And how the cathedrals work, and what did these big resonator machines that we put ourselves into, and how did the organ and the bells function and heal people and this and that. So how does that translate into like modern music? How do we bring that into the modern world? And I was experimenting a while ago with building guitars. Like, how do you build a guitar that has a resonator in it that resonates like a church organ, or that resonates like a cathedral?
Yeah. That's a good question. That's above my pay grade.
So I'm thinking about weird stuff like that.
Video production in the 90s, and I did a lot of stages, a lot of bands. And one thing I noticed in the 90s, there was a separation between up until the mid 90s, the crowd could be right against the stage, and then the insurance companies and the venues started separating, putting a barrier between the stage and the audience, and there was this disconnect, and then they pushed it back even more. And now people, it's like there's this two completely different things. You got the people, the stage, the musicians, and then you've got this audience, and there's a disconnect. Oh, another band that's really cool. This blew my damn mind. Have you ever seen Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes?
No.
Okay, check them out. They've got this guitarist, and the guitarist actually take his guitar into the mosh pit and play. It's fucking brilliant.
I think you made a good point. I think you made a really good point here, Beags, about this is sort of we could look at it as a microcosm for what's the other stuff that's happening in our world, like that separation, right? I have a big pet peeve where when you have these natural wonders, you have these beautiful places all around the world, and what seems like it's been happening is somebody at some point decided that that natural wonder, or that place where lots of people would go, and they would go there and enjoy the natural wonder and spend their day and have their lunch there and everything, that place was dangerous. So they started building guardrails, or they started like, they made a parking lot where you had to pay to go to this place now, and also there's a guardrail, or you had to pay admission, or it's like everything you do now, you need a license to do it. It's a metaphor for the same as they separated the audience from the band, and put that 4-foot barrier with a bunch of bouncers standing there so that the audience is separated from the musicians, is the same as what they've done with every industry and all the natural wonders and all these places where they're roping it off. They're putting guardrails up. They're not letting you go to look, because if you get too close to the edge, you might fall off, kind of thing. And what has it done? Like, it's like helicopter parenting for the world. Like, we've kind of ruined the experience here for everyone. So now people just kind of wander through it going, yeah, whatever. It's kind of boring. I don't know if you know the saying, meh, like MEH, like, whatever. Like,
yeah,
nothing's exciting anymore. Nothing's fun and cool and exciting. And
another thing
visceral.
they did in staging was they created the in-ear monitors. And I was talking about this the other night with Sam. And
I hate that stuff. I don't use any of that.
I understand. I did not make my point clear, but I'll try to make it again. Was that the in-ear monitors are a good thing in the fact that you can hear exactly what you want to hear in your in-ear monitors. As a drummer or as a guitarist, as a singer, you can hear.
Yeah.
You say, "I want to hear this much of that," right?
But you're not hearing the sound of the room.
There's a big difference between the in-ear monitors and when, let's say, a drummer has big speakers behind him and they're pounding him as he hits that kick drum, and like, it's a power, it's a frequency. That frequency hits him and he hits harder, faster, and it's like it drives. It's another thing they did was they went from the par cans that were really hot, and they created this atmosphere of heat until now they've got the LED lights that are cool. And so now you've got this change of where on stage before it was like a battle for your life. You were sweating balls, and when you're sweating all this stuff, it was a different thing than if you're in this cool. Now they got fans and air conditioner blowers and all this hippy chippy coochie poppy crap that it's like, I get it. I understand what it's for, but it ruins the experience.
It does ruin the experience for sure. Yeah, it's.
I don't know how to put it in words other than you had to be there.
Well, I think we just kind of described it. But I hope that the audience gets what we're saying here, because I think we're pretty clear in what we're saying. But
okay, here's another one. I don't know if this was ever, if he still does this, but I distinctly remember watching Billy Corgan and the Smashing Pumpkins back in the 90s, back when they were really good, when they were the Pumpkins, before they went all gothy crappy. But they were one of my favorite bands. And I watched Billy Corgan sing that song where he goes, "Bang, bang, you're dead, hole in your head." I don't know if you've heard that song. And he would go, it was incredible what he would do. And I know the sound engineers wanted to kill him, but he would go, "Bang, bang, you're dead, hole in your head," boom. And he would hit that microphone, boom. And he would hit that microphone with his palm of his hand, and you felt like the sound system was going to crumble and die. And it was the most amazing thing, because he bang bang, you're dead, boom, hole in your head, boom.
Yeah, I know the effect. Yeah, for sure. That's cool.
It was
intense.
Cool. Like, oh my God. I remember coming out of NXS when I was in high school, and I could not hear for 2 hours. My ears were screaming so bad. But my God, that was one of the best concerts I ever saw in my life. And I've seen hundreds of
Yeah.
concerts.
Awesome. Yeah, me too. I've seen some really good ones. I mean, Pink Floyd in 1986 was probably a topper. Um, Believe
I
it or
got
not,
high on
Beck was.
LSD and got into it. I had tickets to go see Division Bell, got high on
Nice.
LSD, got in a hammock in the front yard, and refused to get out when it was time to go to the show.
Oh shit.
And
Oh
I
man.
didn't go. I was so happy in my hammock, and they could not get me to budge. I regret that to this day.
Yeah, Pink Floyd was a great one. Peter Gabriel was actually one of the better ones too. Beck was another one. I saw Van Halen with Sammy Hagar. Van Hagar, that
I
was
saw
great.
Van Hagar, yeah. You
Um,
know who I saw? Okay, I saw Bush when they were in the '90s, when they were good, when they were on their A game, and then I saw Bush again in the early 2000s, and they absolutely sucked. And the people I went with, they were like, "Oh man," they were younger people, and they were like, "Oh man, they were great." Blah, blah. I'm like, "Bullshit! You didn't see them in the '90s; they were so much better." And they didn't understand what I was talking about. I'm like, "You don't know. You just don't know. It was a whole different thing."
so I've seen a lot of bands over the years. One of the best things that I ever saw in my life live was actually in a small club in Toronto. Not a really small club, but not huge. It was called the Government, I think, in Toronto, and it was Jamiroquai. And Jamiroquai were one of the best live shows I've ever seen in my life. And I was a bit of a fan before that, but after I saw them live, I was like, wow, what a band! They're great.
I don't think I ever saw them.
They're amazing live, like incredible
Really?
live. It
I
it was a
remember
great
the
party.
one song they had, the virtual reality.
Yeah,
I remember that song.
really
Another
really fun band
song
to see
that was
live.
really cool was, did you ever see Eddie Vedder climb across the scaffolding?
I've seen the footage of it. Yeah, that was pretty
Oh
cool. That
my
was
God.
pretty good.
He was a freaking
Yeah,
monkey.
yeah,
One
yeah.
of the coolest shows I ever saw, strangely enough, was Paula Abdul. I set her stage up, and she had all this stuff that would move on the stage, and it would go up and down on elevators. And I was really impressed by her setup.
Hmm, that's cool.
She was
Yeah.
a real performer back in that time. But I mean, not her. I wasn't big in her music, but her stage set was really really cool.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
I
Yeah, and
love
there's lots of stuff
that
I
movie.
would have liked to have seen. I mean, I wish I'd have seen Led Zeppelin in the day, but never got a chance to see them. But
I I was working a Crosby, Stills and Nash concert, and I fell asleep. They were boring the shit out of me, and I'm back there sleeping. My boss came up to me and like, "Get up!" And I'm like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "You can't sleep. You got to do." I'm like, "Oh," and they really put me to sleep. There was another really
too
good
funny.
concert was Elton John. Elton John really tears it up.
Really? Cool.
Yeah, I saw him play in the rain, and people were like tripping out in the rain with umbrellas and just like loving it, standing in the rain watching Elton John. They really, really
Cool.
like that.
Right on. I saw Garth Hudson, the keyboard player from the band, before he died, with a Canadian artist named Daniel Lamois in Hamilton at a small show, and that was a really mind blowing show. Garth Hudson was really old, and but just incredible musician, just absolutely phenomenal musician. Um,
I
yeah,
watched
there's so much
Eddie
good.
Van
There's,
Halen warm up for his concert, and I was sitting third. I was sitting like 3 seats back in the front row. What I was working the concert, but we were done, and I'm sitting there just watching him warm up, and he was just playing the keys for Dreams, and
he's
and it's like,
incredible.
oh my God, this is like, because
Yeah,
I was a Van Halen fan at that
yeah,
time.
he's incredible. I love Van Halen. Yeah, yeah, for sure, man.
Steve Miller's a dickhead. I did not like Steve Miller. He's
I've heard
not
a
his
few.
music.
I've
I
heard a
love his
few
music.
musicians described that way. Yeah,
He's just. I remember he said there was some speaker stacks on the side of the stage, and for some reason he did not like them where they were, and he goes, "Those speakers need to move back. My fans cannot see me." And I'm
Oh
like,
man,
all right, dude, whatever. Like,
he's one of the only people that ever played in a series here in Ontario. There was a bunch of shows at this one park. I can't remember. I think it was Molson Park in Barrie or something like that. And a bunch of my friends went to see Steve Miller, and they said it was the worst show they'd ever seen. They just didn't. They didn't. They were like, he was terrible. They just said he was horrible.
I love his records, but I just
Which is
didn't.
not something you hear very often. Yeah.
No, most of them are pretty cool. Most music. I mean, they didn't get where they are for no reason.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, some of them, I think they get that ego and they think their shit doesn't stink, and at that point,
that's the death blow, isn't it? Though, when you start thinking that you're all that in a bag of chips, and then that's the beginning of the end right there for people, I think.
I remember setting up.
Yeah.
I forgot where it was, but I did set up Alabama, and they did a corporate gig. So it was weird, but it was like a corporate gig, but it was Alabama playing for a corporate. Oh, and Hall & Oates opened for them, and I actually ate dinner with Hall & Oates, sitting around a road case eating steaks.
Cool.
Services, and we're sitting there eating steaks with Hall & Oates, and it was just like so surreal.
Right on. That's cool. Yeah. They're good musicians, man. Those guys are good. Yeah, they wrote a lot of good songs.
That was neat. There's some that, man. I tell you, I wish music would get back something, because it's gone so corporate, and you've got the radio stations controlling everything, and Ticketmaster screwing everybody, and it's just it's incredible. It's like I want them to get back to playing. I saw Tool back during when they were touring Opiate.
I love Tool, man. What a great band.
God, I've seen Tool many times, but when I saw them during Opiate, that was like a whole nother level of holy shit.
Oh, I've never seen them. I'd love to see them. They're coming around again. Yeah, I'd love to go see them.
The power that they build the music up, and it's like they raise the frequency of the room, and then they just drop it on you, and it's just
they're doing a magic show when they play a concert too. I think it's a lot more than just a music show. It's they're all pretty serious.
Their live shows are phenomenal. I mean, they're one of the best. They really are.
Mm-hmm.
I literally forget a lot of the bands that I saw, because I saw so many. If I was not working a show, I was going to a show. And
right on.
I got free tickets, I'd go to a lot of shows. So
that's cool. Yeah, I've done a little bit of that, setting up for shows. The last show that I set up for was the Korean pop band Blackpink.
I've heard.
I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but it was crazy. It was all like 13-year-old girls with these like light up
oh my god,
lightsaber things. It was weird. It was really weird, and the show was pretty extravagant, but it wasn't really my cup of tea, right? But I was part of the backstage crew. Yeah,
I did a gig one time that was really weird like that. Different, but same kind of feel. I did a meet and greet for Mia Hamm, the Olympic women's soccer player, back in the 2000 something. And she was really popular, and they did a meet and greet, and they hired me to do sound for this meet and greet. And so it's I go in, I set up in this store. It was, I think, a Sports Authority, and I set up the sound system in this store, and I didn't know really what I was getting into. And then next thing I know, about 1 million 12, 13-year-old girls descend on this stage, and there's me and 13 million 12-year-old girls, and then Mia Hamm comes in there, and it's just me and Mia against the world. And like, I was so terrified, and she knew I was terrified. She thought it was hilarious, but she was so cool. But I was like, that is a terrifying situation for a grown ass man.
That's pretty funny.
I did all kinds of weird shows like that. Just I met I did stuff for the White House, and I remember one time I did Bob Dole's wife gave a speech, and my job was to I was doing audio, and I had to mic her up with the wireless lav, and I walked up to her and I was like, Miss Dole, I have your mic, and I looked at her and she had on this blouse, and I'm thinking, okay, well, normally you would like run it up their blouse and for a man, but then I'm like, she looked at me and she goes, she understood what my conundrum was, and she was like, oh, give me that, and she grabs it and runs it up her shirt and see, that's how it's done. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Sorry, I didn't want to molest you, right?
That's all kinds of weird situations. I did a premiere for a movie called Gator or something. It was some kind of movie where it was like about gators, and I think it was called Gator or something. Anyways, it was a horror movie about like these giant gators that would come out and eat people. And for the premiere, they wanted me to put out a red carpet and do a sound system and all this stuff for the premiere. And they brought these baby alligators, and they all had their mouths taped shut, and they walked the baby alligators down the red carpet. And I remember the girl, she worked for one of the like MGM or something that hired me. And she actually sent me she just appreciated my work, I guess. Whatever I did, I did it right. She sent me an entire like 20 like a 24 inch by 24 inch by 24 inch cubed box full of DVDs, MGM DVDs as a thank you.
Right on.
It's just kind of the way the industry rolls.
Yeah, more movies than you could ever watch, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There was did a African band. You were talking about African bands. I did an African band one time that was a African, like I don't know how to describe it, like an African orchestra. It was like a singing and drumming, and they did all kinds of African instruments, but they were like this. They had made records, and I remember the lady asking me, did you enjoy this show? And I'm like, oh yeah. Like, I didn't know what the hell I was listening to. And anyways, they ended up sending me all their records as a thank you. Just stuff like that would happen all the time.
You must have a good collection now, eh? You probably got a lot of that stuff. You've still got it all, but
no, I got rid of a lot of it when I woke up. When I woke up, I got rid of a lot of stuff because I wanted to lighten my load in life. And
yeah. I'm at that point now. I have a huge archive, and I have DVDs, movies, books. I have so much stuff, musical instruments, my collection of bows, knives, axes. I have so much stuff. Tools. I got three of every tool. Yeah.
I got tools for my tools.
Yeah. Oh my God, I got tools for my tools. Yeah.
There was one time that I was on like I said, I was a big Smashing Pumpkins fan at one time, and one time I was looking on eBay, and I came across this auction for snare drums for Jimmy Chamberlin, and I was looking at this auction. I'm like, this is kind of cool. Jimmy Chamberlin snare drums. I'd never heard of a Jimmy Chamberlin snare drum, and then I like realized that there was something different about this auction. There was about 15 snares this person was auctioning off. They were claiming to be Jimmy Chamberlin, and they were all these different like snares. They were trying. He was supposedly trying to make some money. This was in between. This was in the period between where Jimmy Chamberlin was fired from the Pumpkins and they got back together. It was in that time period, and he was trying to make some money, and he was selling off his snares. Now, I thought it was bullshit, okay? Even though the guy shows pictures of him with the snares and it looked like Jimmy Chamberlin, I still thought it was bullshit. So I thought, you know what? Here's the thing. I love the Smashing Pumpkins. I love Jimmy Chamberlin as a drummer. And matter of fact, the ending of my live show here, the drumming in that is Jimmy Chamberlain.
Okay, cool.
Just so you know. And then,
Yeah.
so I thought I'm going to bid on this snare. And so I was bidding on 2 snares. I was bidding on the snare that he recorded the song Zero with, or I think it's Zero. Yeah.
Yeah.
That snare. And then I was bidding, and that one went too high. At least I thought it was too high. And then the one I bought, I got it for like $500, and it was the one that he played during the Machina tour. And so I got the snare, and I asked him in an email when I paid for it. I said, "Would you mind signing the head of the snare?" He said, "Sure." And so, anyways, a couple days later, I got this snare in the mail, and I opened it up, and there's the snare exactly as pictured. It's signed on the snare head. He sent me a pair of his signature drumsticks and a photograph framed of him, of Jimmy Chamberlain, holding my snare signed.
Wow.
I'm like,
that's cool.
Fuck, and a certificate of authenticity for $500. Nice. Dude, I shit myself.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. I was pig in shit, literally. I was so happy with that thing. And when I woke up, I gave that to a friend that was a Smashing Pumpkins fan. I knew he would appreciate it, and he did.
Very cool.
He said, "I'm going to get this thing insured." He was so happy with
it. Right on, Beags. You know what, buddy? I got to get up early in the morning for work. I'm back on my work schedule here. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I drove all day today, and this has been a nice way for me to wind down here tonight. But I'm back to work, and I might not be so available for the next month or two. I'm not sure how long my this work stint's going to last, but when it's done, I'll be back around again. I might not be around for a little while, but when I eventually finish work, I'll come back again, and maybe we can hang out again and have another chat again some other night.
That sounds great.
That was a cool chat, though.
Thank you.
Yeah, we started off in one direction, and then we went in a completely different direction off in left field. That was cool, though.
Well, do you like this format where I just let you, kind of stretch your legs, is what I call it?
I do for sure. I think what I was expecting last week, though, was I thought you were going to have like a panel. I thought you were going to have like 2 or 3 or 4 different people up and have a conversation with a bunch of different people, which might be neat. That might be a way to go. Seems to be a thing these days.
I don't want to do that because that gets it gets complicated. People talk over each other.
It can get a little messy.
Do nothing, and then all of a sudden
you sometimes get people arguing and stuff. I kind of like the one-on-one conversation thing too. I do this a lot with dude on TX Magi dude channel. We'll have a phone conversation, and then he just posts the conversation afterwards, kind of thing. So it's kind of like this. It's like one-on-one, right? Because that's interesting when it's like if we were buddies and we called each other on the phone and we're chatting for an hour or two, and a bunch of people can just listen to our conversation, right? It's the same thing. Like,
pay attention to what you're saying and give you the opportunity to talk. I can shut up and listen, and you get to actually have your voice, as opposed to it being if like you came on and you felt rushed. You'd like, I got to get this out, and you're like have to blast out this thing, and you don't really get to have a conversation, and that's why I do it the way I do it.
True. Now, so it's a good format. It definitely is good. And I think sometimes when you have too many people on too, what happens is you get an idea when somebody says something, it reminds you of something, and you have a point that you want to say, but by the time you get around to saying your point, the conversation has gone so far down the line that you forgot what your point was, and then it's not really, it loses the linear nature of the conversation, sort of thing.
Absolutely. I want a conversation to go wherever it needs to go. It doesn't need to start somewhere, and it doesn't need to end somewhere. It just needs to go wherever it goes. It needs to be fluid and move in and out of whatever needs to be talked about. And I just hope you guys like it. I've been enjoying it. I really like these conversations.
Well, yeah, and I really appreciate what you're doing with looking at the old photos and stuff like that. Like, you've brought a lot of really good info to the table, and I think you've opened a lot of people's eyes to what's actually happening in these photographs. That I think a lot of the things that you've shown and talked about are things that people maybe wouldn't have noticed by themselves, like if they were just left to their own devices, or how many people would have just even given a second look at a lot of those photographs, right? So the fact that you go through them and do a deep dive on them and kind of, zoom in, and you might even want to even take your time a little more on some of these photographs, because sometimes it kind of goes fast, right? You're going fast, you're going through a whole bunch of photos, but you can even like slow it down and like take a little more time to ponder the photo, and like, it's great content though. This is great, and I think
I've got so many. What I only show you guys a very, very, very small fraction of what I have.
That's what I thought too. I thought you must have so many photos that you're trying to rip through them, because you have so many photographs, and it's exciting to you to go through them all, that you want to show more of them. But I think what you're doing for the
people want it slower, that they'll actually watch it again and slow it down, or take a screenshot of the picture and you can always y'all can take the title of the shot, and you can go to Library of Congress and look the image up yourself and download the image. I understand your point. There's so many freaking
it's not even a criticism. It's just a thing that I had other people notice, and they said to me,
No. People have been saying this from the first video I ever did. People were like, "Oh, slow down! You're going way too fast." And I'm like, I just go. I wind up and go and try to get through it. And I guess in my mind, when it fires really fast, that's like a lot of times, like when I was talking to John Levy, people were like, you're talking over him too much. And I'm like, well, he's too fucking slow. And my mind is firing faster than he's talking, and I can't help it. I'm and not to mention the fact that if you're in a position where you're talking to one of your heroes, you want to ask everything you can in the little time you got to ask it.
For sure.
And it's not time to sit there and listen to everything. You want to keep asking, because it's you got a limited time. And that was the only time that I ever talked to him. And so
when's your birthday, Beags?
In December.
You're a Sagittarius?
No, I'm a Aura, what's it called?
Ophiuchus.
Aura Boreas, or the one that the 13th.
Yeah, the serpent bearer, Ophiuchus.
Yes.
Okay.
That one.
Yeah, cool.
I did not know that until a couple years ago. That was really weird to find that out, because I was always a Sagittarius. But to find out I was the 13th sign was like, well, that's a little different.
There you go. Okay, well, that explains a lot then. That's cool, man. Right.
Not sure what it means, but I don't know. I guess it means something. But I thank you for taking time. I saw that you were going to be gone for a while, and I thought, you know what? I felt really bad you didn't get on the show the other night, because I didn't.
Well, that's okay.
I didn't plan. I don't plan this thing. It's a like kind of a let's see what happens. And this guy Sam, he came on, and I think he needed to be able to have his voice heard for that night. I think that conversation actually, like, I could see. I don't know if you guys could see it, but I could see the gears grinding in his mind.
Well, I think you're doing a good thing here, and keep having more people up, and keep doing what you're doing. And it's all going to have a positive effect, I think, somewhere down the line, for sure. So I appreciate it, man. And I appreciate you having me on, for sure. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome back anytime. We'll keep doing this. And thank you for everything that you shared with me. I'm always learning different things from different people. And even though it doesn't, like, it talking about concrete may not sound interesting to other people, but to me it was interesting, because I did learn from you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I find interest in everything, really. I could go down. I heard a funny one the other day. It said, I've been down so many rabbit holes for so long that I owe the Illuminati money for rent. I owe the Illuminati rent money.
They should be calling us and asking, us to give speeches on their history.
That'll be next, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah.
on, Beags. I'm gonna get some sleep. I'm gonna get some sleep, buddy. Thanks,
Okay.
man.
All right. I sure appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Much love. Have a good night, bud.
See you,
Night.
Greg. Okay, we are done with that. I tell you what, let me let the Beagle take a Tinkle Tower visit, and we'll come back and look at some more photos. Does that sound good? I hope so, because that's what we're going to do. Okay, we are back. What old world building are they destroying now? I ain't heard. I don't know what y'all talking about. What old world building they destroying? They're always destroying something. Seems like every time I turn on the whatever, there's something burning to the ground. They're still burning stuff to the ground, y'all. I mean, it's like all the time. James gonna call in naked. Hence why I have people cam up. Woo, Lord. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and get back into our pictures here. Let's see here. Make sure it's gonna go. Okay, we were looking at this one first. Our next one. Okay. You zip it right on up. You zippy dog. You big old mouth hound. Okay. Make sure we got going. Okay. Columbia, South Carolina. Capital. Hush it. Zip it and piss off. Go play with your toys. Where's that toy at? Where's that toy I took from you earlier? Where'd I put it? What did I do with that? I don't know what I did with it. Well, go find the toy. You got like 15,000 toys around here to play with. Go play with one of them. This Columbia, South Carolina Capitol Circle, 1962 and 65. I'm not sure. This would have been after Sherman did his march to the sea. This is supposedly Sherman coming through and tearing shit up. So this building is still there today. And I don't think you see it in these pictures. A little something. I don't know how you can't see it on Google. I don't know how I know these things. They're on I believe this side over here. Anyways, one of the sides there is a section like this that is blown out with a cannonball, and there's like the whole side has like hits where cannonballs hit, and they put these stars where the cannonballs hit, and they're still there today. Look at all these old world bricks. Those are fired bricks. You see how inconsistent they are? That is a fired brick. That is a classic sign of a fired brick. Faux show. Got your healing center over there. All right. Got corner of East 10th Street and Avenue D in Manhattan in 1937. And okay, what I thought was interesting about this is they still have the grates. You know, these things were highly dangerous because like if a lady were to step on that with her heel would go right through that. That could be dangerous. People would drop things in them. People would drop, you know, cigarettes and cigars in them, and they would start fires. And got Mudflood winter here, and it's like got writing on that right there. But these were used before they got the pavement lights, and they would the pavement lights would replace these. So these are really rare to see actually. They were what they used originally. Beagle, if you don't piss off and go play in the road, I'm gonna knock the ever living tar out of you. And you know what that means? It means you're gonna have tar feathers flying everywhere. Like there's gonna be beagle fur everywhere. Come on, Cletus, you walk over here, you're gonna go back limping. I'm telling you. You messing with the higher powers. Yeah, lick your lips at me. Shit. Little got a Mudflood drop in there going in. Half of a flat earth asterisk right there. Torres field. You're so whiny. What do you want, another biscuit? I'll give you another biscuit. If you be like, eat a biscuit, you take a biscuit. You always like a biscuit. Here, have your biscuits. Now get out my hair. You just want attention. I always want attention. I need to get you a girlfriend or something. Got Fairmount Park, Washington Monument in Philadelphia, PA. And I've got some, I think I let it lock in here. Lock in. There you go. Got your bull symbology. Got a deer. Got some boutte. You need that. Got an eagle representing the phoenix. What in the world? Something maybe united by the state. Maybe, I don't know. Scrub cartouche. Got Washington perched up on his steed. Got some moose. So we got, oh no, there's a buffalo. Buffalo, moose, deer. And I can't see what the other is over there. So this must have some horseshit Indian stuff on it. I don't know. That's a very strange monument. Monuments are just weird all around to me. This is Fairmount Waterworks, Philadelphia. I've got 2 images from this area. I just thought it'd be interesting to see 2. Got a coin here. You see they're using that lime mortar in between. What are you doing? You better slow your roll right on down to a comfortable crawl is what you need to do. Whatever you're up to, just slow it right on down, right to a slow, comfortable roll. Beagle ran out the door yesterday and he got to the bottom of the stairs and then barrel rolled across the grass. It was hilarious. Cracked me up. He thought he was going to get him something. Look at that wrought iron work right there. Like, how in the world would you even make that? Like artistically, the process of that. Like, I don't think so. Look at this big arch back here. What a strange place. Like, what in the world is this thing supposed to be? I don't know. Epithelial with a dragon on top, maybe. What? I mean, why? What? There's a gazebo. Little sphinx. Okay, that makes sense. What in the world? Like, what am I looking at? Like, look at these sluice gates. It's just very strange. Is that a couch? Wait, go back. No, go back. Is that a couch? Somebody's throwing a couch over the side. That's really weird. This is another image from the same spot looking to the right. Like, what are these doodads up here? Like little porthole windows? And why is this? Look at this little balcony here. Like, what in the world? This is just weird. And what's this dude doing? Very strange stuff going on here in Philadelphia now. What you got? The Parthenon going on here? Or what is that called over there? That's just weird. They got these little door things. If the boat's a rocket, don't come a knocking. They got the closed up over there. Look at this. They got this door that comes out to nowhere. That just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. I'm following this one, or I don't know. double-decker bridge. You got Fred over here and Fred up here. We have so much Fred traffic, we got to have a double-decker bridge. Makes sense. There's another Fred over there hanging out. How weird. Got the Flatiron Building in New York City. New York City. What's Sig up to? Sig, being a good boy? Shiggy. Shiggy, are you there, Shiggy? Okay. Got the third rail system here, which they would electrify and run electric up into the trams, and it would run the trams around. Got Freds all over the place. Looks like could have some payment light there, but it's hard to tell. There's Pooper Scooper Man, in case you need to know where he is. And I know that's a weird thing to point out, but when I first started making these videos, I had a very strange number of people ask, where's all the poop? Where's all the poop? Well, the poop got picked up by the Pooper Scooper Man. And this guy's the water truck, and what he would do is he would take this contraption here, and he would spray water on the dirt road to keep the dust down, because it was very dusty on dry days, which was, that could be very annoying, very dirty. They did the same thing today. I hear about my boss talking about it all the time, that they like rain days because then they don't have to run the fire extinguisher, the fire hoses. They have guys that literally have to stand there and spray the entire work site with fire hoses the entire job, unless it's a rain day, because it's got to keep the dust down. So they pray rain on that. We pray rain right here for well water. We've been getting a little bit of rain here lately. George A. Fuller Building Construction, space in this 20-story building for rent. You can get you a space. It's that plank sidewalk. It's probably hollow under that, I would say. There's a little electric car in case you need that. This building is still there today. I believe it's empty, if I'm not mistaken. You see the brick behind the facade. There's a steel frame building, and I do believe they had steel in the old world. I think that's definitely something they had. Phoenician wave. Well, I call it Phoenician wave. I believe they call it, technically it's called like a Greek key or some shit, but I don't like that term. I make up my own term. I make up a term that makes sense for me. They actually got them a crane on this one, real crane, not one of them wooden jiggy things. Getting jiggy with it. Portholes all up here. They're just hanging out on the roof. No big deal. I think that's lightning protection right there. I'm not sure. Yeah. See that little doodad right there? That's a lightning. And that's something I wanted to talk to Dragon Sage about. We'll have to talk to him about that. I wanted to ask him some questions about lightning protection. I have my questions about that. About that. Let's see what he knows. Portholes. Got their antennas all over the place. Architectural urn. Got Get their antenna with a mercury ball. Isn't that amazing? You're looking at that picture, and the focus of the picture is this building, you know. But look how much is like just in the periphery. I mean, like how much evidence and knowledge you can, you know, obtain just looking at the side of a picture. And they have vanilla skied this thing. Zip it. You can see they vanilla skied it right here. And so there was more to this image that they took out. Put that border around it, which is a very common thing they did back then. Grace Church, New York, New York, New York, New York. I don't know how to say it. Got arc light's going to pop into place here in a minute. Just give it a second. Dude, there you go, arc light. In case you need one of them. Got some ivory. What are you doing? I think you gone crazy. I think the cheese just slid off your crackers. What I think, Mr. Beagle. I'll play with you when we're done. At the finial. Look at that ivy going all the way up to the top. Oh, I like how they did that right there. It's like it looks like a heart. Kinda. Interesting. So many bricks. I saw one of those AI videos a week or two ago. And they were talking about these shutters. And it just kind of was like, huh? Like it was just a weird comment. But then it was kind of like, what is going on with those shutters? And they were, I think the basic gist of the video was they were talking about how these shutters were designed for protection. And you know, I always knew that they were like it, let's say in Louisiana, you need them for protection for, you know, from hurricanes. But this video was kind of more like, you know, these are protection from dust storms and things like that. And I'm like, huh. And I'm not saying that's right. It just, that was a different way of looking at it that I'd never heard. And it made me kind of wonder. I mean, it's like, well, they, you know, I always kind of thought it was either protection from storms, but this is New York City, or protection from, or to keep the sunlight out. But then, you know, you look, it's like it's on all sides of the building. And then they've got what clearly looks like window shades of some sort. So, I don't know, just it's kind of a think piece, you know. see what you think. I don't know. Got some figures in the niches. Cymatic pattern in case you need that. Boy, that's pretty. That's Qualo T. Oh, I might do my, yeah, we're going to have to do something here. Check that out a little bit better. Give me a second here. Let's look up this. Looks like fleur-de-lis kind of. No, it's not. It's a flower. It looked like a fleur-de-lis there for a second. Me's are wrong. That's okay. All right, let's do our little trick here. All right, one goes to here. Get it to doodad the doodad. Okay, and let it lock in. Brighten it up. We see more detail. It's a weird contraption. Huh. I don't know. Look at the detail in those windows. Like, seriously. That's pretty cool. Is that a green man? Haha, where you at? Haha's the resident green man. You see the old glass in that with the oily look? That might be something else that needs to be looked into is the glass, the oily glass, how hard was that to actually create? Illinois Monument at Bragg's headquarters, Missionary Ridge. This clearly looks like it was added. This was clearly added. These statues or horseshit narrative that were added. They took they took stuff off here, I believe. Eagle representing the phoenix. These would have been added. The spears, I guess. I guess that'd be a spear. Taurus field with the canthus leaves. Lower leaf of control. Let's see. Got John Hopkins Hospital, Baltimore, Maryland. Mudflood Wanderers. Nice wrought iron fence. That wrought iron fence across the porch. More up here. Look at all these wind catcher chimneys all over it. And there's the wind catcher. That's a finial up there. Wind catcher. Ether finial. Pyramid symbology here. Oh, look at those flowers. We could dock our airship up there. Ether finial. Portholes. Look at that brickwork. How beautiful. Stonewall finials. Wow. Intricate details. Just, they spent some time on this building. There's a lot going on there. Anytime you see something that's more than just brick mortar, when you see stuff that is changing direction and different materials and different, in and out, and just when you see that stuff, you're talking about another level of mason. That's not your Joe Blow mason. This isn't Mexican work, is what I'm saying. Mount Royal Station, Baltimore. Let it lock in, and boom. There's Fred, and he's sitting there doing his thing. Whatever he does, Fred just does it. There's the big arch, two little arches, and the porthole in the middle. Arc light. We definitely added the B&O. Got a clock with 4 ones for the Mandela affected folks. Got the finial. Arc light. It's an interesting railing. It's akin to what's called speed rail. It's not speed rail, but it's akin to it. Arc light. Fred walking down the road, hanging out. Look at these tunnels right here. Look at this weird roof system here. I mean, like, look how they built this down here, and then they built this weird thing here. Like, that is very weird. That is an afterthought. That is not. The architect didn't go, yeah, I want to build this grand tower structure with arches and stone, and then I want to put this shit on the side. This is my crowning achievement to this architectural marvel. That's not how that went down. Sorry. I don't know if Frankie's still with us, but here's a train for Frankie. It's the National Cemetery Monument to Andrews Raiders, Chattahoochee, Tennessee. Chattahoochee. Ohio's tribute to Andrews Raiders. 1862. So some kind of Civil War horse shit. But I thought it was kind of weird. Let's put a train up here. That's just kind of odd, I think. But whatever. Of course, you got your... You know, it's, I tell you what, you know, I was looking, I don't know where I got this question from, but I was looking at how I was putting 2 and 2 together, right? So you got this thing about, you know, I put the video out talking about how in 1973 that they abolished the draft for the first time, and how this is Peabody Institute, Baltimore. Look at this wrought iron work, and how you know, for the first time, you know, men could choose whether or not they wanted to serve. Like that was how that's how they got their soldiers. And then I was thinking, you know, what like I was watching I'm watching I watched the first half of Gone with the Wind last night. There's a swastika, and swastika is a very good symbol. It was corrupted by the Nazis, but it is actually a very good symbol. Should look into that. Mudflood winter there, and how they were talking about how they were all excited about going to war with, you know, the Yankees, and I was thinking, it just got me thinking, like, these supposedly people are excited to go to war, and it got me thinking about how this lady was talking about how the men's responsibility was to possibly, because of the drafts, go to war, and Mudflood drop-ins there, and so, you know, I was just thinking, like, well, okay, between the Revolutionary War and the Civil War, how many wars were we actually in America? Like, you know, if we relied on the draft, and like, I was just kind of wondering, like, because you know about the big ones, like, you know, the War of 1812, and you know about the big wars, but you know, what other wars were we into? So they started the Vanilla Sky. This, And I just started looking that up, and man, I tell you what, they pretty much have kept us at war for, you know, all this time. Like there's not really much time where we weren't at war with somebody somewhere. And you know, it like, you know, you think about, like, people don't, you know, everybody knows we don't like war, but if you really look at the history of the United States, now I'm talking about the United States now. If you look at the history of the United States and war, we're always at war. We're always sending our boys to war. Now we're sending our young ladies, and I'm sorry, but a society that sends their young ladies to war is a society in collapse. And, you know, fuck this shit about, you know, I can do anything you can do. I can do better. You know. I'm sorry. It's the battlefield is not the place for our, you know, women. We should respect them more than put them in front of a bullet. That's just not. It's not that they can or can't do it. It's that they shouldn't do it. They shouldn't do it. The men shouldn't be there, but damn, the fucking women shouldn't be there. So that's my opinion. If a society that puts their women into war is a society in collapse. Look, stained glass. Oh, this is Roseville, St. Augustine, Florida. Check out this back here going on. San Francisco after the earthquake and fire. This is just something I ran into. I just thought was interesting. Modern office building, Mission Street, May 15th, 1906. Not high quality, but it just kind of struck me as interesting. See, you can see scorch marks from fire right here and here. I wonder if that building's still there. Tartarian lions on the front there. All right, we got this is a Carnegie Library. Let me see if I can. I didn't. Let me see where this is. Let me read my thing a little bit better here. Okay, here we go. Carnegie Library for local history is all I have. Well, that doesn't tell me nothing. Anyways, this is just a screenshot that I got off something. And I could not find a better version of it. But man, it's just really cool to me. A porthole. And you got these amazing mudflood winters down here. Trolley running with overhead electric. These are some closer up pictures. And these would be foundation, I would guess. 1876. This is a different picture. I wonder what's up under that porch there. Got the two Freds there. It looks like it's been vanilla skied a bit, at least. It's kind of interesting. We got well, maybe that what this is labeled Carnegie Library. This must be from something that I got that was talking about Carnegie libraries. Okay, so ignore the name. I think the name's wrong, because that last one said Bowen's Hotel. Yeah, that was throwing me off there. Wait, is there a no? Okay, ignore the Carnegie thing. I don't know what that's from. Anyways, I thought these pictures were cool, so I thought I'd share them. Sometimes you can't find it. It's weird because like you can find these pictures, but then you can't find higher resolution of them. So I don't know. Got portholes under stairs. That's weird. At their antennas, at their fencing, cresting. That's just a cool building. Not sure where it is, but and these bicycles. I mean, talk about like you're gonna like fall on your face. Like why? I can't understand. Like why did they think that was a good idea? Why would you think? Like if I was I've never understood these bicycles. I just can't. Like how? Why would you not design this bike to where your feet can touch the ground? Why would your first concept of building a bike be that you're going to put it so you have to literally like it's like jumping on a camel? Like it's very strange. I don't know. But what do I know? I mean, shit, portholes, wind catcher. I don't know. This is something. Sometimes I just throw shit in here I think is cool that I can't find better versions of, so I throw in what I can find. St. Mary's Cathedral, circa 1910. View northwest across the intersection of Van Ness and O'Farrell Streets to St. Mary's Cathedral. It burned in 1962. So we lost this one. They added a cross to this one. Got the wind catchers. Got cymatic windows. Just, I don't know. Wow, what a loss. I mean, this one's really cool. These big doors. And that's a very uncommon. Look at this big arch with two massive doors instead of the three massive doors. But then what's weird is you got a little door here, a little door here, and a massive door here. Maybe they changed it. Maybe these steps were added. I don't know. A little weird. I don't know. Old gas lamps. Wrought iron work. I don't know. That's just there's another cymatic window. Just a really cool. That's, I guess, where the location it is. I don't know. That's the best I could find on that. Got Tampa Bay Hotel, Florida. In Tampa, Florida. They lock you in. Bada bing, bada boom. You got a chimney here for a steam plant, probably with ivy all over it. Got their antennas up there. Check out that porch there. That's pretty cool. Got a sun deck up here, it looks like. Crescent moon. Moorish architecture out the ass. Crescent moons all over the top, portholes, onion domes. Totally Moorish. They had pavement lights in the deck, up under these awnings here, up under these right here, up under on the deck. They had in the floor. They had pavement lights. I've got pictures of that. Check out these windows, cymatic windows. This is still there today. It's I believe a college today. And look, and of course we had our horseshit sign to it. We are these sign like people. We signed everything. Put signs on every damn thing. Hotel Alcazar, St. Augustine, Florida. Bum, bum, bum. GT, you behaving yourself tonight? What's going on, GT? GT 1982 Mustang. Boom, 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 boom. Bum, 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 bum. And we got some weird stuff on this one. Laurel Leaf Control, Taurus Fields. Oh, I like these windows here. Pretty cool. Very nice, very nice. The cathedral in Baltimore. Let lock in. Let it lock in. There we go. The cathedral. Got cobblestone brick road. Make sure it's not melted. Hold on, let's check. I don't know. These might be popcorn bricks. Right here, we've got evidence of popcorn bricks, everybody, right here. Right here, evidence. Call John Levy. You let him know we got found some popcorn bricks. Oh, right there in Baltimore. Oh, yeah. Between 1890 and 1920, there, right there, got evidence popcorn bricks right there for John Levy. John Levy is the popcorn brick master of ceremonies. Let's see. This dude is like, what is he up to? Like, what is going on with him? Okay, look at that wrought iron work. Very nice. As Borat would say. Oh, definitely got some Vanilla Sky here, if you've ever seen that before. They've just not done a very good job of this one. Definitely 100%. Oh, they took out a piece of the column. Oh, got a little squirrely with the etcher there. Oh, took out some more of the column right there. Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh, it nicked it right here. Whoever did this one was like smoking the good stuff. They did not know what they were doing. They did not do a good job of this one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. They're just nicking the building left and right with the etcher. Oh my goodness. What have they done? Oh my goodness. They added a little cross to the top of that. Get the narrative in there somehow. Got a clock. Clocks are expensive. Got 4 ones on it for the Mandela effect of folk. Still going on. Oh man, cut into the cross, man. Oh, this one they chunked up the cross here. Oh, they did a real good job, Vanilla Sky, in this one. Yep. And the Ninja Squad would call this a chemical process. Yeah. That's about like saying a brick can turn into a rock. Yeah. About that. Yeah. No, you're going to have to get up earlier than that to fool me. A lot earlier. Y'all going to have to get up like yesterday or something. Check out them tourist fields. Beautiful. I like the tourist field. That's an interesting photo. I'm going to have to, what in the world? Have you gone crazy? Do you not look where you're going when you decide to jump at somebody and then knock your head? It's not my fault. I didn't do that. I'm over here minding my business. What are you doing? You want to get up here? Well, don't get up here. Get up here. Don't get up here. Cordova, St. Augustine, Florida. People try to jump up here and knock himself in the head. He's a dumbass. You dumbass. Beagles is a dumbass ass. Beagles is a dumbass ass. He's looking at me like this. Not very nice, Daddy. It's mean. That's all right. That's my right paw dog right there. Check out the wrought iron work. Little bitty holes. Diamond symbology. Oh yeah, I like that. That's quality construction right there. Yeah, I'd pretty much guess that that's probably an addition. We kind of added that. I do believe. It's like an all-seeing eye right there. Wow, she is dolled up to go somewhere. It was like the world. It's like the world was a fashion show. Everybody had to be perfect. Man, yeah, lightning protection there. Oh, that's a. Oh, no, I think that is. What in the world is your problem tonight? I think you got a problem. That's weird how you got that doodad coming off there. Strange. Zip it, Skippy. Porthole. Hush it. Must be for Paul Cook right there. R.P. Cook. That's definitely Paul Cook's spot. He hangs out there. Little church around the corner, New York, New York. Little church around the corner has wrought iron, it looks like. In case you need some wrought iron work done. You son of a bitch. You do what I tell you. You big old meanie button. Now you putting up with it. Got time for that. I'm over here trying to show some of these pictures up in here. Let's see. Wow, look at that roof. Okay, drop the acid. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Holy crap. What the world? Okay. Got their fencing. Cresting. What in the world? Hush it. Damn. I'm about to knock you out. I'm going to throw you on down somewhere. I'm going to take you out and let the rabbits eat you. Think about that. Huh? You think I feed those rabbits for no reason? No, I feed them so they'll eat you on command. That's what I thought. Got a little church around the corner again. I guess this is another view. It lock-ins. Okay, we got some locks. A lock. Got it on lock. Bum, 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 bum. That roof is trippy. I don't even know where you begin to build that. I don't even know that. I can't even. That's just completely above my pay grade. I don't know. A fountain. Imagine fountains probably were a big deal in some way. They're cresting. I just love black and white. Like there's just something about it. This is a scrape. This is some sort of what you call it? It's a problem in the negative that it's like something that got on the negative has eaten, I believe. All right, and we got locks. Salute, St. Marie, Michigan. I believe all the old canal systems were old world. Here's where Michelle Gibson and I agree. We agree on some things. I'll tell you where I agree with you, and I'll tell you where I disagree on you. But as soon as you disagree with somebody, you get their knickers twisted. Let them fucking ride. I don't fucking care. I'm not gonna hold my tongue just because you can't handle it. I'm not gonna do it. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, and then tell me why I'm wrong, and explain it to me. Get me real down and let's get it on out there. Let's talk it out. Let's spread it out. Spread that shit right on out. Let's find out where the problem is. Because I ain't perfect and I don't know it all. But this holding your tongue shit so that everybody likes you is bullshit. I ain't doing it. Like me, don't like me, I don't give a fuck. The main building from Nuremberg Cottage, Wellesley. Wellesley. What the hell? Who's writing these names? Anyways, got portholes up here. These is the portholes. I just do believe. That's a pretty building right here. These other finials. Pretty wild, man. They bringing in that third energy, man. Look at that. Yeah, get that for energy right there. Flat Earth asterisk. Yeah, that's a flat Earth asterisk. Look at it close. Take a good look there. Yeah, you saw it. It's everywhere. You'll see it all the time. One of these days, y'all gonna start seeing this flat Earth asterisk like all over the place, and then at that point, you're gonna be like, "Damn, that BEAGS." Now I can't not see it. It'll drive you absolutely up the wall to see it so much. That's okay. You'll be all right. Mudflood winter down there, in case you need one of them. Do. All right, let's see. The Royal Poinciana. What? Palm Beach, Florida. Who's writing these names? Like, what is that? Like, come on. I'm not Indian. I don't speak Indian. I speak English. I speak one language, English. That's it. Sorry. These big torus fields. Very nice. Very nice. They had a lot of, like, who in the world, like, one thing I can't figure out is, it's one thing to have one of these big ass massive hotels, right? Okay, fine, you got a big massive hotel, but I don't have a problem with that. My problem is that in this day and time, they had these massive freaking hotels everywhere. So who's doing all this traveling and hotel staying in that time period? Like, where are, like, somebody's got to do the building of the construction and shit. Like, who are all these people that are filling these hotels? It's odd to me. I think it's odd. Theater de la Renaissance. Oh, Theater de la Renaissance. I am not French. 1890. I'm country. Leave me alone. Anyways, I just thought this was a cool photo. Got Fred over here. Of course, that's probably why I pulled the picture. And we've got these gas lamps here. Beautiful. Got an awning. I love an awning. Got a ladder lean for Douglas. Ooh, boo balls. Very nice. Very nice. Check out these faces here. Theater de la Renaissance. See? Cafe Felix. Got boo balls everywhere. Who don't like boo balls? Let's see. It's Eric Light. Look at that thing. Good grief. My goodness. Little cherubs hanging out. Portholes. Torus fields. Man, I just thought this freaking building was just pretty cool. 1872. More boobas. Unscrubbed cartouche. Portholes. Mansard roof. Portholes all down the side. I don't know. I'm pretty impressed by it. Town Hall Sydney, got 1880 to 1900. So we got us a big old healing center, it looks like. This isn't as high resolution, but you'll get the idea, I do believe. Got one of these organs, which I think they got rid of these things. Whatever these things did, they weren't playing church music, let's put it that way. There's nothing, I'm sorry, but the whole thing about making people sing in church, it's always been cringe to me. Like, y'all know y'all can't sing, right? Like, shut the fuck up. Y'all can't sing. Stop singing. Like, God is tired of hearing you sing. You're like, I could just see God just be like, Jesus, Sunday sucks. Like, God is, I can see God rolling around like in agony at all the churches singing on Sunday with the terrible parishioners singing their hymns. It's one thing they have the choir sing because they fucking practice, but when you got the congregation singing and nobody knows how to sing, and they got this loud organ. You got a loud ass organ that sounds like shit because it ain't like old world organ, and then you got all these parishioners that can't sing worth a damn, and they're and oh my god, I've had nightmares about that. I think U.S. Sub Treasury, Federal Hall, Wall Street, New York. I'm just saying. If you're going to have music, have the choir do it. That's all I'm saying. It's not that hard. It's weird how he has his hand out like that. Let's put windows down here. Got some crown stuff. Looks like a dragon right there. Maybe. Or is that a... Or is it a... Well, is it a fish or a dragon? Hell, I don't know. What? I don't know. I don't know. You tell me. Hey, while y'all ain't doing nothing, y'all start leaving some damn comments on the videos. That helps the videos. That helps the algorithm put the video out. Just go in there and say, "Biggs, you're a jackass," or anything. I don't care. Anything that leave. Just say hi. Say best show I saw all week. Say this show sucks ass. Just say something. Anything, it helps the algorithm. I'd appreciate it. While y'all ain't doing nothing. I know y'all ain't doing nothing. I know you gotta wait till the video's over. But when the video's over, just do me a favor. Just do me that one little favor, and I'll show you this Tartarian line. How you like that? Is that a deal? Show you a Tartarian line. You leave a damn comment. Union Square, New York. Whether you look at, you look at. Here you go. All right. Lock it in. Go ahead. Log on. Lock it. Get your gas lamp. Yeah, got your bowler hat there. There's Derby Jack right there. He's walking right there. Derby Jack goes Derby. There's Pooper Scooper Man's get up. Looks like they're running the third rail on the trolley. Got pavement lights right here. Got Fred right there. Look at them awnings. That's some good looking awning work. Awnings just really set a building off to me. Yeah, at their antenna going up in the air right there at the cresting. Bada bing, bada boom. Got some Mudflood drop image here. These gas lamps. Ladies in uniform. But a lot of people used to get run over. You just hold your horses. We're almost done, I believe. Hey, nobody. You got time for it. I'll play with you in a minute. Lunch wagon. How about that? So it's a food truck. That's crazy looking. That's crazy. I've never seen one of those. That's weird. They got tracks right here where it's something's run through here and then spread it. It's kind of odd. Big arch. The big arch. I don't even want to know what's in that big arch. Why you go? Why I got to be slipping in some zebra crap? Oh, I took the zebra got near me today, and I petted its nose, and that zebra freaked out. He like jumped up. Like they're not sociable creatures. I snuck a nose rub, and he freaked out. Like, what are you doing? Don't touch me. But he sure wanted that feed I had in my hand. Unloading ore at, what in the world? Conduit? What? Who is writing these things? Conduit, Ohio. Whatever. Brown conveying hoist. All right. Kentucky. All right, then. It's like that. Yeah, I'm sick of talking about throwing me down in some zebra crap. That's just that's just not nice. I don't want to be thrown in no zebra crap. Hey, he looks like he just whooped your ass. And this dude, man, he is just drunk. That's all right. Get your drunk on there, fella. You know, tie it on proper. I don't know. One thing I can tell you is that young zebras, they don't have they're not black and white. They're brown and white. They don't get their black. The black doesn't come in until they get older. That's something I learned because we've got our girl zebras. She's full, I guess, full grown, and the boy zebra, he's younger, and he's still brown and white, which is kind of funny looking because he looks kind of like faded Wabash. It's not like brown like as in mud brown, but it's like a faded black or something, but it's closer to brown. I was weird looking. I was wondering what I was like. I asked that question when I first got. This is Wabash Avenue from north from Adams Street, Chicago. You got Fred hanging out. Cobblestone Brick Road. These are coal hole covers right here, and they appear to have pavement lights in the coal hole covers. And there's more pavement light right there. There's Boss Man. Ladies in uniform. She's got standard uniform, black skirt, white blouse. You got the elevated train here, the L. And these right here are firemen's. They I don't know, I can't really. I was going to trace it for you right here. What they would do is they would hook up. I can't really show it to you. There would be a hookup down here if you follow this pipe down, and the hookup for the fire truck, they would hook up into that pipe, and then they could at each level jack into. You see these knobs, these are on off mechanisms, and they could turn the water on and off at each level, and they could take a hose up here and go in, and then these go up on the side. These were definitely an afterthought. That is a firefighting pipe. Of course, now we have them inside the buildings, but you understand they when they found these buildings, they couldn't run pipes through the walls and the floors, so it was a problem. They couldn't run the plumbing on the inside. They couldn't run the fire, piping on the inside. They couldn't run, any electrical wiring on the inside. They couldn't do anything. And that's why a lot of these buildings have gone away, because they were so hard to modify. And my God, when they came up with HVAC, they were up up shit creek, flat earth asterisks, in case you need that. They were up shit creek because it was so hard to change these buildings over. That's why they came up with the drop ceiling, so they could run the HVAC in the drop ceiling, and then it would make the ceiling lower, which would then keep the heating and cooling costs down, because then you wouldn't have to heat and cool the portion of inside the drop ceiling, which also look like crap, and they love the modernist crap. They love the modern stuff. Stuff that, like, you watch the beginning of this video where they're talking about how this modernism and the brutalist, buildings, how they are actually, like, our brain registers them as ugly, and it actually hurts us to look at them. It actually, does not pleasure us, which is, why I think I enjoy looking at these pictures, diamond symbology, because, they're a pleasure to look at because they were built properly. They had character. They had artistic value. They were symmetrical. They were designed, from a spiritual place. A lot of thought went into these structures. This is a Washington Bridge from East End, New York, in case you wanted to know. Just incredible. I mean, it's just perfection. Everything they did was perfection. Wayne County Building, Detroit, Michigan. Wayne County Building in Detroit, Michigan. Got ghost people right here. Etheric light. There's a moon tower right there, going up right beside that chimney. Coin. Little obelisk. Scrubbed cartouches right there and there. Architectural urns. It's got that star fort look on the corners there. Torus field. Coffin cartouche, unscrubbed. Old etheric light. Well, there is a nice step ladder for you. Yep, that's quality. Coffin cartouches. These ones have been scrubbed, and this one has not. Torus fields. Windcatcher, Torus fields. Architectural urn. Very nice. Scrubbed cartouche. Unscrubbed cartouche there. Coffin cartouche, unscrubbed. There's Fred. Creepy baby. It's the mailbox. Alrighty. This is Whitehall, the residence of Mr. Flagler at Palm Beach, Florida. I believe Flagler's credited with building a lot of buildings. I believe the Ponce de Leon Hotel, if I'm not mistaken. Wrought iron work. Beautiful wrought iron gate. very, very bright photo. Very nice wrought iron gate. It's got to be hard to make. That's something that needs to be looked into further, is wrought iron. Old world wrought iron. Wright Hall, Alma College, Alma, Michigan. You got this little mud pile here in front. It tells me something. We got Mudflood windows there. You see the oily look. So that's old world glass. And a beater of a building back there. That's weird stone right there. And look at this. You got the long, short, long, short, long, short. That's next level masonry work. This one's done by a mason that was higher level. Definitely. Stone ball finials. Flat earth asterisks in case you need those. I mean, it's just no denying the damn flat earth asterisk. Whatever it is there continually. Continually. It's going to drive you, once you see it, once you start looking for it, once you, like, you don't have to believe that it's what I say it is. That's not important. What I'm saying is this damn symbol is there a lot, like excessively. And so when you start looking for it, you're going to find it more and more and more, and it's going to get to the point. And I'm not talking about just back then. They still do it today. You're going to see it throughout history. There's something about it. There is something about it. So that is the completion of said such pictures for tonight. And I think we've all had enough of each other, and it's time to get on with our lives for the week. So that being said, I sure appreciate every one of you for hanging out a little bit extra tonight, and extra special thanks to Dragon Sage for coming on and sharing his truth a little bit to us, and hopefully he'll come back again in the future. And in a couple weeks, we'll do another Mudflood flash mob. And if you'd like to come on and share your truth, and I think you're kind of seeing how that show is panning out and kind of how it goes. And basically, you come on and we just hang out for a little bit. I'm just like you guys. There ain't no, just because I get up here and dance and jig every week, it doesn't mean I'm special in any way, shape, or form. Everybody's special. Everybody has something to add, and you're more than welcome to come and do your thing and show us what you got. And I'd enjoy that. So let's sign off for the week and go do our things separately, and I hope you all have a very nice week. And I'm going to go and make me a beagle burger and have a wonderful evening. So I appreciate each and every one of you for being here and hanging out with me, and I hope you had a good time as I did myself. I'll see you soon. Love, BEAGS.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No. Say woof again! Say woof again!
I've got one that can see.
Welcome to the underground.
This is my kung fu, and it is strong.
See you later.